everybody, and welcome to the House of Mario, the South Australian Nintendo podcast that is backed by a 120 Power Star rating. I'm your host, Drew Agnew, and the doors to episode 224 are open. This week on the show, we're going to be talking about Mario Strikers Battle League impressions, a Pokemon artist, James Turner leaves Game Freak to start his own independent game developer, and Summer Games Fest roundup, and much more. And joining me in the house is my best mate, it's Bryce DeWitt. How you going, my friend?
It's me. How are you, mate?
Yeah, good, man. It's good to have you back. It's good to do the show in general. I've been sick the last couple of weeks. I've been sort of trying to fend off a cough. I'm like, I can't podcast coughing into the microphone. No one wants to listen to that. Unless
that's right.
Unless someone's like, oh, look, I just love a good cough. I love a good cough in the ear. It's good ASMR. I type cough ASMR every day in the YouTube, and it does me well. I don't think anyone's like that. There was I was watching a comedian on YouTube, and they were sort of going over this TikToker, and he was just coughing and squirting into his phone camera. It made me uneasy. I hated it. Disgusting. So I'm not going to do that to our audience here, that's for sure. Oh, you cheeky boy. You don't have a cough. That's a fake cough.
No, I'm so cheeky. Tell you what, I'm the cheekiest lad.
I've come across a little bit cheekier, but you're right up there. The cheekiness is just bountiful.
Very cheeky, mate.
Yeah, absolutely.
You just wait.
Just you wait. Oh, all right. Well, how you been going, Bryce? It's been a little bit since I've seen you. You came over on my birthday. You brought over some drinks, so I appreciated that quite a lot. So,
of course. Yeah. I didn't know you were sick at the time, so rip me, I guess. Nah, I'm alright. I'm alright. I didn't French kiss you, so I didn't get sick. It's alright.
You just gave me a normal kiss on the lips.
Yeah, that's right. No, it was I was like, all right. I'm like, I'm like, it's Drew's birthday today. I'm like, but it's like my dual kids day. I'm like, well, I'll tell you what, I'll put Arthur to bed for a nap. I'll go pick up Evie. I'll just let Jade know that I'm going out for, half an hour or so. And I'll go pick up a couple of beers and just pop around and see how you're going. And then it just turns out that you've been fucking like sick all week. And I'm like, oh, well, here you go. Here's your drinks. You probably won't feel like them if you're sick, but here you go.
No, I felt like them. I felt like one. You brought over a nice cider, my favourite cider, Bournemouth. Nice and delicious, yeah. I
was like, I don't know whether you'd feel like beer or cider. So I was like, all right, I'll get you 4-pack of Bournemouth. I'll get you 2 carton dries at least. Then you'll be hanging for one later. You'll be fine.
Just in case you missed, I'm like, fucking, I didn't want cider, Bryce. Throw it back at your face.
Oh. I don't want it. How dare I?
Yes, how dare you?
It's like, sorry, Lord, here's your Carlton Dry. Oh.
That's better. I need yeast. Yeast. Well, we're doing this online, which is, I don't know if this has become a regular thing for us, but Jesus, it was a bit of an effort trying to get the kids to bed before popping into the House of Mario. Jeez, things are different now, bro. I feel old. Bloody old men trying to record our podcast amongst streaming kids.
Yeah. This is the first time I think we've had a recorded podcast where we've been like in the midst of like getting everything sorted and ready for bed, and like you chucked up the restream, and I'm like, all right, yeah, sweet. I'll click on that and I'll just get in there and I'll just get the kids ready for bed and stuff like that. My kids are like popping in and saying hello to you, and Lucas is cracking the shits, and I'm just like, all right, kids, time to go to bed. They're like, I want to talk to Drew. I'm like, no, you're going to bed. I want to talk to Drew. He's my friend.
Oh, he's getting jealous. Evie's taking old Drew boy away.
I want to talk to Drew.
I can imagine Evie, just for context, Evie is Bryce's 6-year-old daughter. So I'm like, Evie, one day she might be like, hey, I'm actually hanging out with Drew this weekend. Like, what the fuck? He didn't say anything to me. So no, it's just us. We're, I don't know, going to the movies, playing games, just hanging out, being friends.
You're just chilling out. Going to watch Sonic 3 without me.
Then you get your revenge. You're like, Lucas, one day, I'm just going to go hang out with Bryce. I was like, what? Bryce didn't say anything to me. That's not fair.
Uncle Bryce knows how to play video games better than you do. So.
Oh, fair enough. Go to Bryce's place, go and get some skills up.
Yeah.
Well, that's not a bad idea at all.
He's come for dojo training, mate.
Yeah, well, what are you going to teach him? What game are you going to teach him?
Oh, God. I don't fucking know. Anything and everything.
I'm at that stage where I'm starting to daydream about, the age when you can pick up a controller. And in this room here, I've got like my screen here and I got like a screen over there. We're just both sitting here playing games on our own separate thing and playing some multiplayer games and all that. I hope that's the case.
That could very well be a reality, my friend. Yeah,
it could. But
that's exactly what's happening with me right now. Like if I just fucking I've got like a whole second desk over here that's got like the laptop set up and everything.
Yeah.
And God forbid that anybody else uses that laptop other than the kids, because they don't. So it's usually me and Evie sitting here after school or whatever. And
is it just like covered in jelly from the kids?
No, it's pretty clean. But the plan is to have the computer that I've got going now, because I'm streaming and using donations and whatever to sort of like work my way towards a new streaming, like not a streaming computer, like an actual game computer. And then the one that I'm currently on is going to be my streaming computer. But what I'm going to do is I'll set it up between the two desks, and I'll have a screen over there that they can sort of just use that computer on, as long as they don't mess with my shit. So that's the plan. And then, that way I can have a laptop back, which, hasn't been mine for a long time.
Yeah. That's the other thing I'm thinking about too, is just like when all my things become not my things.
What's your switches, man?
Yeah. Well, I don't mind one switchy. I'll buy him his own Switch. Just like, use your own Switch, mate. You reckon you're getting the OLED? No chance. You're getting the tatty old Switch Lite. Don't you worry about that, my friend.
Might get to Christmas, like, all right, son, here's your first Switch. You're still a baby. He's just like fucking dropping it on his face, like, oh, fuck.
When he's like 10 months old, here you go, champ.
Traumatized for life because of Nintendo Switch.
Yeah, no, he see me playing. He would just get flashbacks. It's like, how do you remember this? You're so young, but it was that traumatizing. No, hope not. Hope he has a good relationship with electronics and nothing falls on his head.
I think he will.
Yeah, I'm sure he will.
I think he will. Every kid has to these days. Like, it's not. It's one of those things. It's like everybody at school and stuff like that. They're all playing Fortnite. They're all meme invested. They're all like whatever.
Oh god!
Literally, I got Evie coming home. She's fucking talking about yeeting and then like she's dabbing like every now and then. Like, no shit. It's
oh no!
like, holy,
she's been poisoned by
I know,
by social.
Like, holy crap! Like and that's not something she's pulled from the internet, because she spends a lot of time on the internet. That's something that she's pulled from school, like from people at school. Just, why are people dabbing? No, this is way too long ago. Why are people still dabbing?
You're just an old dad, Bryce. You don't understand why dabbing's sick.
I never understood why it was sick when it actually happened.
No, I don't know either, Bryce, but it is what it is. We got to embrace our brand new culture. So dab away, my friend. Dab away.
There you
go. There we go. That's a good dab from Bryce in audio form. All right. So let's get to some housekeeping, Bryce. Just want to go over a few things before we get into the meat and potatoes of the show. I want to thank the country of Ecuador again. We're in the top 14 in the Apple Podcast charts for video games in that country. We were number 3, Bryce, if you believe it or not. We're number 3. I don't know why. I don't know how, but thank you very much to Ecuador and the whole country. I'm sure everybody in that, the whole population is just...
the house, Mario.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Absolutely.
Thanks, Ecuador. Appreciate it, dudes.
Yeah. And we're starting a game club, Bryce, and I came up with a name for it. I want to see if you like it. I quite like it. But it's just the House of Mario Game Gathering. A monthly sort of game club where we get together on the Discord, record an episode, put it out on Encore at the House of Mario podcast feed, and have some fun. And the first game is going to be Kid Icarus on the original NES. So if you want to go and check that out, you can get it on your Nintendo Online subscription, or you can even get the 3D Classic on 3DS, which is a really nice version as well. Looks beautiful. I really enjoyed it. It's one of the first classic games to come out on the 3DS, so you might have it in your backlog. So if you want to join us for that, it's going to be recorded on June 29th, 8 p.m. Australian Central Standard Time. I know last episode, for some reason, I just had a slip of the tongue and I said 8 a.m. I'm not recording at 8 a.m. That's not going to happen, guys. So 8 p.m. and it will be put up on the 30th of June on Encore at the House of Mario. So join us for that. And even if you can't join us, you don't want to be in the Discord or join us for the show. It's just a thing I want to put together, so we are sort of, concentrating on games that we can play, and we're not always just looking forward to the future and getting sucked into, when's Nintendo Direct coming out? It's like, guys, we've got so many games to play from every single Nintendo platform. I'm sure you've got something to play on Switch.
Yeah, and I think that's the thing is when we're talking about something like a games club, we're 100% so set and focused on the here and now more than it ever is. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
Like classic games, especially these days, they just fall to the wayside. It isn't the same sort of hobby that it used to be. Like people who started gaming in my era,
your era, I love it.
Well, yeah, I mean SNES, NES, SNES. I started in the transition of then. Going back to those old games, like a lot of people who started gaming since 10 years ago or whatever, they're not gonna be like, man, I should really go back and play Super Mario Brothers 3. That game was a fucking fantastic game.
It was.
But it was, but they don't do that. But somebody like me will go back to it and I'll be like, sweet, yeah, it's a fucking sick game. But then you get those people, they're just they do go back to it and then they're just like, it feels so terrible, and the graphics. And you're like, yeah, well, that's what video games were. They weren't always Fortnite.
It's definitely something a lot more, I guess, common if you're going back to a Nintendo 64 game or a PlayStation 1 game that you didn't originally play. Yeah. I feel like that's a little bit harder to go back to. But anyone that's saying the 2D Mario games, they're hard to go back to. It's like, come on.
You'd be surprised.
Yeah, I know. Every now and again, I read something on Twitter being like, someone's like, give me some game recommendations. And someone's like, oh, look, you should go back and play Mario World. It's one of the best games ever made. It's really good. And they're just like, I don't like 2D games. It's like, you don't like 2D games. That's a big span of video games you just don't like.
Yeah, even in the modern era, that's a huge thing.
Yeah.
Like you think of some really pretty games like Ori and the Blind Forest and stuff like that. It'd be a real shame if you missed out on shit like that just because you don't like 2D games.
Don't like using that D-pad. Just hurts the thumb. Just the friction. It's just too much.
I don't like moving left and right. I only like moving up and down.
Don't blame me. That's why maybe you could recommend the original Donkey Kong. You're moving up. You're not going left and right too much. You're trying to go up little platforms and jumping across barrels and stuff. But apart from that, it's up ladders. It
is, yeah. You do indeed climb a ladder or two. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. But it's one of them things where we're in that unique position where we can sort of have a community come together and try some things with us, and sort of make a little community, like a community chat about it, and really sort of get the ball rolling. And something like Kid Icarus is not realistically something people will ever go back to, because it's one of those things that's not even represented that often in the modern era. Obviously, we've only had one Kid Icarus game in the last 20 years. And that was Uprising, and which we both think was a fucking stellar game, but we haven't seen anything about the series since, which is really shitty. So I'm glad I still have a 3DS around to play it again if I ever want to.
Now that we got Mario Strikers, it's Kid Icarus. That's the game I'm after on Switch. That's the next. That's the hype moment at a Nintendo Direct. For me personally.
Yeah, that's right. But depending on whenever the hell they actually decide they're going to do anything, but considering everybody else has already sort of laid their cards on the table for now. I mean, I'm not in a rush. We already sort of know what's coming in the next year. It's not like, and this is sort of circling back around to not just looking forward to, what's hip and upcoming and right in your face. We already know what's happening. I'm still excited to see more information about the things that are coming too, but we already know what's happening.
Yeah.
We've got.
Yeah, we will talk about the direct rumor a little bit later. So
Go for it.
we'll get into our thoughts then, because I think, the internet as usual, especially being June with no sort of update from Nintendo, everyone's losing their mind a little bit. So, look, we're Nintendo podcasters, and we get a bump in numbers when there's a direct. If anyone wants a direct, it's us. Like,
yes.
Even we're just like, yeah, you know what? We know Splatoon's coming. It's we've got Xenoblade. There's Pokemon. This thing's coming. Whether you're excited for them or not. But let's get into a Guru Geek Outs, Bryce.
Guru Geek.
Yeah, whatever I just said. Just put it all into one word. And I know you'll be able to get around this one, Bryce. So our good friend David Rini has released his first single on Apple Music and Spotify titled Stuck. And I'm just so happy for Dave and that he's finally done some music. Basically, I get a bit of backstory. I first met Dave on a Nintendo forum called Aussie Nintendo. I'm sure some of our listeners from Australia might recognize that name. And Dave on that forum was one of the nicest members I ran into, and become friends on Facebook, and quickly realized he was really into his music. And there was a website called, I think it was called Last FM. Do you remember that site, Bryce?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you could basically put your music library into this site, and you get recommendations, and you can make friends and see what people are listening to. And it was quite a novel concept back then, but now with Spotify, you literally just open the app and you see that Bryce is listening to, Metallica, and that's cool, and you click on that. But back then, there was sort of no ways to just share your music. And I quickly found out Dave had a very similar taste in music to me. So quite often I was going to his profile and seeing what he's listening to, and I'll click on it, and I'm like, I really like this, and put it into uTorrent, download the discography. And
whoa.
Yeah, look, I'm honest.
Admissions of guilt.
When I'm in primary school, do you reckon I had $30 to spend on 12 songs?
No.
But yeah, and since we had such a, I guess, similar taste in music, and he's, I guess, in the more recent years, he's been putting out sort of covers and stuff on his Instagram, and just really liked what he's putting out. It's acoustic sort of pop punk music, and I was stoked when I heard that he's actually putting out something officially recorded, and it's absolutely fantastic. I know you put up something on Facebook about it too.
I did.
So you've come across it. You like the track, Bryce? I know you can't.
Absolutely.
I know you can't say no. Actually, no. After all that,
no, it's a brilliant song. I love it, and I 100% agree with the sentiment. I'm glad that he's finally managed to sort of get himself in a position where he can release a professionally recorded song. He had I remember reading that he had a last minute photo shoot because he was sort of like, well, that's something you need to do. And he's just like, oh shit. Yeah. And I'm like, yeah, that sounds about right. That's, like we all go through that with with things. And, I think it kind of encapsulates it encapsulates the song a little bit too, because you just you get so stuck in your own thought where you're like, you don't even think about the little things. You're like, shit.
Yeah, because I know there for a little bit too. Like he was, I guess with the title of the song called "Stuck," he felt a little bit stuck, and like on Facebook he explained why this song means so much to him and how he's sort of getting his emotions out there, if anything, let alone putting out some music people enjoy.
Yeah, and that's what it says on his bios as well. Is that his music is a way to express experiences that he's had or ways that he's felt in his life. And I think a lot of people can relate to something like Stuck. I think that's it's a song that honestly it gets a little bit of hype in there. You feel pretty good about it by the end of it. You're like, yeah, that's great. But the actual reading into the actual lyrics and how he sort of felt in this particular situation, I think it's something that a lot of people have actually had to run through plenty of times. So, 100%.
Yeah. So I'll play a bit of the song so you guys will listen to it. And, yeah.
Get up, you're not stuck. So what, you've been stung. We've had some bad luck, we've had some good fun. And if your world came crashing down, back yourself in, forget those feelings of doubt, or you'll be frozen in place with egg on your face, you're a sitting duck. Tough fuck North Star.
Yeah. Cool.
Nice.
So if you want to go and check out the songs, there's links to the streaming services, Apple Music, Spotify, and check out his Facebook page and Instagram page according to plan. I'm sure he would really appreciate it. A fellow South Australian musician getting their first single out there. So really cool. Big Nintendo fan as well, obviously, meeting him through Nintendo.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Do you have any Guru Geek Outs, Bryce?
No, I think that was pretty much it for me as well this week. I've been working a lot, so it's sort of like I haven't had the time to sit and appreciate a hell of a lot. Apart from maybe the fact that I guess like streaming and community wise, there I've been doing pretty well as well. And a lot of the friends that I'm making through streaming and stuff like that, I appreciate them to absolute like here and back as well. But like, you know, I could talk about that all day and sort of how that's gone. And, you know, I've talked about it before on the show, but I think the main important thing is that I guess I'm just glad to be surrounded by people, even if they're not directly in my face. So, you know, that's including people like you and then people that still keep in contact with me from like locally or people that are online and stuff like that. And it's just, yeah, it's good to still have those people around with you know, everything sort of going on. And whoa,
Child's arisen.
Yeah, the child has arisen. But yeah, essentially it sort of just really comes down to having people around that care about your work and your content and you as a person as well, and see you as more than just that. Which has been a huge help, because sometimes you don't feel like doing anything. You don't really feel like sort of pushing on, but yeah, having those people around is positive.
Yeah, absolutely. Like on my birthday the other day, you know, a lot of people who I haven't talked to in a long time, you know, said happy birthday, message here and a Twitter post there and all that. It's very nice. Yeah. So yeah, no, I definitely have agree with that. But I've got one more geek out, Bryce, and I've been saving this for a little while. I've with the Nintendo Switch Online, they've been putting out the Animal Crossing characters each month with their characters that have birthdays that month. And I've been patiently waiting for Philbit to be added to that. And now he's officially my avatar. I've got Philbit, the little blue squirrel from Animal Crossing. And I was thinking the other day, I'm like, I really want him in my village. So I went and got 3 Animal Crossing Series 2 packs of the Amiibo cards. And I've been waiting to open them on the show. Just make a bit of an event out of it instead of just opening them and being disappointed afterwards. But they come with 3 cards. And hopefully out of the 9 that I have here, one of them is a Philbit. Because otherwise I'm going to eBay and I'm getting one for like $11.
Well, all right. Let's see how this
goes. All right. So we got like, we got Anicotti, we got Pico, and we got KK Slider as the rare sparkly one. Okay. All right.
That's cool. Should I?
All right. So I'll open one more, and then I'll open the last pack at the end of the show. You know, really, the anticipation. Everyone
Or you'll just open it now if you get Philbit in the next one.
Oh, I hope so. That is the best case scenarios. But a bit of context, everybody. I guess there's 100 characters in these packs. So the odds aren't in my favour. All right.
In Series 2, though, or total?
In Series 2, I believe.
Holy fuck.
We got Bianca. We got Avery. And we got Porter as the sparkly rare. Okay, so it's all in the last pack, boys. Because the thing is, like, I don't even want these cards. Like, it's like you're either all in or you're not. Like, just having a few of these isn't going to suffice. And I'm not buying $5 packs to get 3 cards. It's going to be a bit.
Yeah, it's not like Pokemon cards. Like shit.
Yeah, it's a bit. Look, obviously they're expensive cards because they've got the NFT.
NFCs.
NFCs, yeah, that's right. Sorry, chips in them. So they're not just cardboard. They've got something in them, I guess. But anyway,
holy shit!
What?
The realization that they are the first example of an NFT in a physical form. That's exactly what they are.
Trading cards.
No, like the amiibo cards specifically.
Kind of, I guess.
No, they are, because there's limited quantities of every character. Oh no. Okay, all right, we're moving on from this.
Yeah, good idea. All right, so let's move on to some game impressions, Bryce. We're obviously going to be talking about Mario Strikers, but beforehand, I want to talk about some Steam demos I've been playing. A lot of these are coming to Switch, but I don't know if you've checked this out, Bryce, but for Summer Games Fest, there's a Steam Next Festival. So basically, you can go and play a bunch of indie games on there, and it's really cool because it basically opens up a E3 like sort of showcase for you to go and just touch whatever you want to go and play.
So I said you need a good PC. Well, there you go.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Xbox do it as well. They're going to be doing it soon. So I'm going to go and check out some games on there as well. But obviously nowhere to be seen on Switch if you want to play some unreleased games. But I played 3 games which I really enjoyed, and I played one which was awful.
Okay.
So the first one's Cult of Lamb. Been seeing this one from Devolver Digital, and it was a lot of fun. And sort of looking at the trailers, I'm like, I got no idea what this is. It looks like a Devolver game. You know, you're a lamb who's starting a cult, but what does that entail? And I don't know if you've been paying attention to this game much, Bryce, but it's pretty interesting how it sort of mushes up genres where you're kind of building out your own. Well, you're building out your cult, but it's like a town. You're doing a lot of crafting and getting new cult members to join your sort of cult. But in the meantime, you're going around and you're going through sort of like dungeons, beating bosses at the end. And that's how you go and get your new cult members. And when you get them back, you can sort of give them a job, and they all have different traits that you can name them. You can give them different abilities and stuff. It seems like really in depth. I'm like, oh shit, I don't know if I'm cut out for this. Like, I just want to go and do the action bit, but I think it would be pretty good, especially on Switch. I was playing it on PC, obviously, and it was in ultra wide on my monitor. I'm like, this looks awesome, and it's given me like a real thing. Like, do I want the portability or do I want ultra wide? But it'll look awesome on OLED. It really will look absolutely fantastic. So this game comes out soon. It comes out in August. So
yeah, I saw the initial trailer for the game, and I was immediately impressed by it. I was like, you know, this is one of those little artistic cutesy style games with a fucking heart, like a dark background that I can get behind. I think that's fucking awesome. So I have not actually played it myself, but I'm keen to give it a shot. I really probably should.
Yeah, no, go and do it. I think or it might actually end tomorrow or the 20th for the US anyway. So you got a day since we've been recording this to go and check it out, I think, unless they keep the demo up. But I know the festival's finishing on Steam. But yeah, no, definitely worth going and checking out. Another one which I really enjoyed, I think it's pronounced Naiad, where it's like just a super relaxing game. It's got a beautiful sort of water painting art style, and you basically just an isometric view of you swimming through a creek, pretty much. And as you're going along, you put on headphones, you can hear the water just splashing, and it's just really, really relaxing. And you're just swimming through, and you're doing like little tasks and exploring little nooks and crannies as you're going along. But you can just ignore that and just take in the scenery and go down the creek and enjoy it that way. But there's sort of like little tasks to do along the way. Like you might come across a little duckling, and then you can use your ability where you can basically sing, and that attracts like the animals in the creek. And then you can take like the duckling to its mum, and then it comes like little things saying, you know, you collected all the ducklings. Oh, cool. And there's like there's frogs that are jumping around, and you're scaring them off. But there's a tutorial where you can basically swim, where you do sort of like breaststroke, and then that attracts the frogs because I guess you're swimming like a frog.
Yeah.
It's just like there's like lots of little small things where you're just like, how does that work? And it works like in a little little micro puzzles as you're going along, and I really enjoyed it. I think it's especially nice because I had like a night where, you know, Lucas was screaming. He went to bed. I put on the headphones, and it's just like, I'm in my place, because there's nothing more relaxing than just like going for a nice peaceful swim in a creek or something, hearing like the water hit the rocks as you're going along. And I thought it was awesome. It's coming to PlayStation. It said at the end of the demo that it's coming to consoles. I assume that's Switch. It's going to be awesome on Switch. It's wintertime here. Just rug up on the couch, put on the headphones, and just relax. So that's definitely something I put on my Steam wish list. And if it comes to Switch, I'll be picking it up there. And another game called Nine Souls, which I had no idea what Nine Souls was, but it obviously takes inspiration from. This is pretty trite, but it definitely takes inspiration from Dark Souls and stuff like Hollow Knight.
It's Dark Souls of indie games. Sorry. Yeah.
I mean, indie games are Dark Souls at the moment. That's just how many of them are around. But I had no idea what to expect going into this game, but the art style struck me straight away. It's just really bright and colorful, hand-drawn art. And just watching that opening cinematic, I'm like, what is going on here? Like, this animal falls off a cliff and dies and gets resurrected. And I'm like, what the hell's going on? And as I'm going through, just meeting the characters, there's this little kid who says, "Oh, can you go and get the flower? Get this flower for me?" So you platform up and take it off of this animal that ran away with it, pretty much. Like, okay, I don't know really what I'm doing. And you give it to the kid, and then you're at he's at a sort of a festival where he's sacrificing himself to the gods. And there's these sort of other kids next to him. They walk onto this platform, they get sucked up and they get turned into goo. And you're like, what the fuck? Like, I didn't know what I was playing. Like, I didn't know what I clicked on when I just downloaded the demo. But I'm like, what the hell? This is messed up. But getting into the game, it very much works like a sort of Metroidvania game. And it took a little while to get used to it. It's very much about parrying at the right time. Parrying is a massive sort of important sort of mechanic in this game. When you pull off a successful parry, you can press one of the bumpers and you do a dash through your enemy and you hold it in, and that basically puts like a bomb on your enemy, and that allows you to do a lot more damage than just hitting with your sword. So sort of just mucking around with that. That was a lot of fun, just getting into that. And the first time I died, it actually takes you to like the afterlife, where it actually gives you an opportunity to experiment and learn the controls. Because typically in a game, you dive and you go back to the exact same place. You're like, oh, well.
Yeah.
And you die again. But it gave you like a bit of a dummy character, and there was this other character who gave you a bit of a tutorial. You can ask him questions like, so how do I do this? How do I do that? And you can just do it on a dummy, then you're like, all right, I've had enough, and you go back. So that helped out a lot. I thought that was a pretty interesting mechanic and good tutorial system. But I didn't finish the demo. I sort of went, okay, I've had enough. I'm looking forward to it. It's coming out next year on Switch and pretty much all platforms. I think in Q2, it's set on Steam. So that's one I'm going to be keeping my eye out for. So I really enjoyed all those games that I played. But my night sort of came to an end when I played Angerfoot. And Angerfoot, I got no idea whether it's coming to Switch or not, but this was in the Devolver Digital Showcase, a game when you just balls to the wall, running, kicking through doors, picking up weapons. In my playthrough, I picked up a gun, and you can shoot a gun with the other trigger, and your left trigger is just using your foot, kicking doors, kicking enemies. And I played one level. It might have been 10 minutes, 5 minutes, but I had just absolute mad motion sickness after playing it. I felt real sick. I'm like, I can't play this anymore. And even so obviously it's not a final product, but just like kicking the doors and kicking enemies, it just had no weight to it. It didn't feel all that impactful as far as the actual gameplay feel goes. And just how it made me feel. Like, it made me feel I was sick the next day. Like, I hadn't felt that in a long time. I don't know whether it's because of like my monitor or whatever, but I've been playing other games first person and they haven't been bothering me at all. But that one just, something must have been off. I don't know what it was, but yeah, I felt awful. I don't know, because I remember when I first got my Xbox 360 and I had a non-HD TV. I think it might have been BioShock, or it might have even been Call of Duty. One of them made me pretty sick, but I got used to it. But I think we're past that point now. I've been playing plenty of those types of games. So Yeah, it's a thumbs down from me, unless an updated demo or something comes out a bit later and I can give it a go. But yeah, no, not too impressed with Angerfoot, even though it looks pretty cool, like with the trailer and that. But yeah, sort of just a big shrug off the shoulders for me, Angerfoot.
Well, no good.
Yeah. So yeah, that's what I've been playing on Steam. So a lot of those are coming to Switch. But have you been playing anything else that isn't Mario Strikers before we jump into that?
I've been playing a lot of Sea of Thieves actually.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so a bunch of people that I've been streaming with and stuff like that. We all got stuck around Sea of Thieves probably about a week or two back, maybe. So I've been playing a lot of that and sort of getting into that and easing into that, and it's a pretty good game. Obviously, I'm coming into it quite late, but it was definitely sort of a redemption arc for Rare, considering how really mistreated they got as a studio for so many years. And then to come out with a game like that is pretty good. I think Sea of Thieves it's one of those live service games that could always use improvements. It's definitely not like the cleanest feeling system at times, and I know that it's because they have like this big map and they've got to maintain multiple people and the events that are going on in it and stuff like that. But it doesn't always feel the best, and I feel like they can always improve on that. But that being said, like the actual act of going around and being a pirate and, looting sunken treasure, or, taking down a bunch of ghosts, or like, and then just going and looting at the end of the day and then picking up a bunch of new shiny shit for your pirate is fun. It's good. It's a lot of fun. And having different size ships and stuff like that is really fantastic. So it's been a lot of fun to play, and especially it's been a lot of fun to stream, because a lot of people that I'm streaming around are sort of it's had a bit of a resurgence, and like a lot of people sort of getting into it. So I don't always have to be sort of just stuck with myself or the same people over and over again. I can always switch it up if I wanted to. People are always interested in playing. So yeah, it's been good.
Yeah. I tried the game like the first week it came out. I had no friends to play with, and I downloaded it, walked onto the ship. It's like, put down the sails, turn them. I'm like, no, fuck that. And I turned it off. I'm going to be bothered doing all that work by myself. I'm like, whatever. But it's definitely something I'd like to play, just to muck around in.
It's a lot of fun. It's a lot more fun with people.
Yeah, definitely, yeah.
But even just like from the perspective of like, did you watch the last Pirates of the Caribbean movie that come out?
Oh God, I haven't watched it in years. I might have.
It was the one with like the guy that was like obsessed with catching Jack because he killed him when he was when Jack was like was a youngin.
Yeah, I got no idea, man. I can't remember.
Yeah. Well, he does a sick fucking maneuver in that movie with the ship where he drops anchor at the right time, does like a full fucking like 180 degree a full 180 degree turn of fucking like by dropping the anchor and like spinning the ship around, and you can pull off shit like that in Sea of Thieves, and it's like really satisfying to pull off.
Oh, cool.
It's like if you get really good at mastering your ship, you can pull off some really crazy maneuvering and stuff like that. So taking on NPCs and taking on other players can be a very challenging experience, or it can be a very difficult one. But it all depends on how well you work with your ship and how well you work together with your team. So it's a lot of fun. I just think it's a lot better with people than it is on your own, for sure.
Yeah. So what do I have to do to get on your crew?
Ask.
Okay.
I'm playing with a lot of people at the moment. It's not that hard.
All right. Can I be on your crew, Bryce?
Yeah, you can jump on my ship. I got a Banjo-Kazooie ship.
Oh.
Yeah.
Is that an official thing they've got in there, or just like a custom fan made thing?
Yeah, no. It's an official thing.
Okay, that's awesome.
Yeah. So I've got that kicking, and I've been sailing the 7 seas and just doing my thing.
Very nice. Very nice.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk about the main one, Bryce. So Mario Strikers Battle League. This is a game I've been asking for a long time. We finally got it in the form of a Battle League. It's called Battle League Football here, Bryce. Don't know how to feel about that, but
yeah, it's weird.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, do you have to? Do you have to call it football? Is it football? Seems to be since I don't know, Wario and Bowser and that pick up the ball, so I don't know how legit that is. But
there's a lot of
yeah.
there's a lot of actually just picking up the ball in Strikers.
So it's a little bit of a divisive one, Bryce. So I'm looking at Metacritic here, and it's sitting at a 74 from the critics, but a user score is 4.2. So it's a massively diverse sort of range of opinion here. It's developed by Next Level Games, and I want to sort of get your take on it. We've been looking forward to this game for a long time. The previous Mario sports games have not really impressed us that much. We've got our fun out of them, but certainly haven't been running off to the masses to just shout how great they are. But Mario Strikers, this has a little bit more sentimental value to us too. Really enjoyed Strikers Charged on the Wii. We didn't really play much of the GameCube one, but the GameCube one was a lot of fun too when we played it. So yeah, what do you reckon, Bryce?
Well, see, Mario Golf had a lot of sentimentality to me as well, but they kind of just fucked it up.
Yeah, well,
do you know what I mean?
And like definitely.
in this case, I feel like they fucked it up less, but it still suffers a lot of the same issues.
Yeah.
I think, like, here's the thing: is like Strikers Charge is a really good game, and I think this at its core is also a really good game. I think like the actual potential for play and stuff like that is really good, and I like being able to customize your characters to sort of fit more towards your needs and stuff like that. And I think that's all well and great, and I think like it's a recipe for a good game at its core. However, I'm sick to death, and this is why the user score would be so fucking low. And it's because I'm sick of this whole treatment with the sports games as if they need to be a live service game that you're paying directly up front for. It's really stupid. It's just like, oh, look, you're going to, like, a lot of people were pissed off because there was no Daisy, so that would have contributed to the score drop. But yeah, like, at the same time, I'm just like, yeah, okay, that's stupid. But at the same time, why wasn't Daisy there? What was the point? Why did you just remove Daisy from that lineup? What was the point in that? It made no sense. Why? So I guess just no Daisy allowed, and we sort of just had to push on forward. I think the game in its gameplay elements is solid, and it's definitely Strikers, and I appreciate it for what it is. Do I think it's better in the gameplay department than Charged, which was like our baby? I don't think it was better, but I do like how there's more room for technicality.
Definitely, yeah.
Which I think in itself creates more interesting plays, but it also creates a larger learning curve. So I'm really going to have to like play a lot more to sort of get into that. A lot of people have seemed to just picked it up like pretty much from the get-go, and they're really good at it, which is great, but it also means that I need to practice a lot more. But the lack of content, whether it be from character perspective or just like solo experiences, is really dumbfounding. It really shouldn't be that low on the ball at all. It should just be full on, chock with like little challenges and stuff like that you can do. And then like there's a lot of like old sports titles that sort of did this exact same thing, but then had like a bit more of an action order to follow to like unlocking additional things and stuff like that. But now we just don't have that anymore. And it is just like, here is currency, and you earn this currency, then you can buy things you want with this currency. It doesn't feel that important. And it doesn't feel like I'm working towards things when the currency is only giving me like 10 coins at a time, and it's kind of whatever. But what else? I feel like there's always room to have like at least some kind of a story mode in these things. And Mario Golf did it, but it was also pretty bare bones.
Yeah.
And like I feel like you could do something with Strikers Battle League as artistic and like as grungy as like historically it's been. I feel like there was always room there for something to do for like some sort of a story, but it just never happened. The last thing I have a problem with, I suppose, is that grunginess, while it's still there, it's lost a bit of its touch. I don't know if you felt that.
Oh yeah, you could tell that from the first trailer, but it just wasn't as balls to the wall, just like kill each other, get that ball in the goal. Like it's still there. Like Bowser's obviously still just nailing people into the electric fence on the side and all of that, but it definitely doesn't have as much attitude, and that might be just, you know, a bit of a tap on the shoulder from higher ups at Nintendo being like, hey, turn it down a little bit. Got a lot of people buying this game, yeah.
Problem. I think that's its biggest problem. Like, you know, it might have been balls to the wall before, and it might have been like a bit more on the side of like, I guess, non-family friendly. But I'd never thought I never would have like gone to you and just been like, Strikers is not a family friendly game, and your kid should not play it. Like, it's never been like that, and like losing a bit of that personality where the Mario characters are sort of being a bit more rambunctious and like sort of aggressive and stuff like that when it comes to this sport of aggressive soccer, like it's hyper aggressive soccer, which you're already beating each other up. Do you know? Like, I feel like them tossing that out the window a bit was really sort of like a shitty move, honestly. I still think it's fine, but it's just disappointing that it's taken quite a revert in personality as well.
Yeah. I mean, like, just overall, it's a really sort of weird game to sort of put your criticism on, because I think at the core of it, like over the weekend, I had a lot of fun with it. It was the long weekend here in Australia, and my friend Dan and Tom from Kraken Furfies came over, and we had a great time playing it with one another. It was a lot of fun. I think the mechanics hold up really well. I think just how the game runs is great. Digital Foundry actually did a pretty good analysis on the game. It runs at 60 frames and holds up pretty well. There's a few sort of loading screens and that. I'm like, why is that so low res? Like, you know, the characters at the start of a match before it goes into the kickoff. I'm like, why does it look like this? Why isn't it more crisp? Because the rest of the game is. I don't know why the still image is just blurry. I don't know. It just throws me off every single time I jump into a game. But I think the core mechanics are there, and even like the cups that you do, it's very basic, but I know it sort of plays the role of what you want. And also, I think the club feature as well, we don't know just yet because the season hasn't started, but you can make your own clubs with up to 20 members in them. We do have a space in the House of Mario Club, so please come and join us. We've got 9 spaces left for you to come and dominate every other club in existence.
Before pushing on with that, actually, that is one thing it did have over literally every other sports game that's come out. And that is a functional online tournament system. Ready to go.
Thank God. Because, without the clubs, this would have been, like, this is
a fucking disaster.
This is $80 foosball at this point. And that's sort of where I want to, you know, put this conversation. Just, like, we all know $80 Australian is sort of the admission fee to get into Nintendo games, whether it's Mario Odyssey, whether it's Mario Golf. I know Smash Brothers and Breath of the Wild are $90, so a little bit more, but you can probably tell why those games are a step above. But, you know, typically $80 is the price that we pay to get into these games. And I think it's just because it's been 2 times in a row. We've had Nintendo Switch Sports and Mario Strikers. They've both been like, here is barely any game, but we will update it, we promise. And it's especially frustrating because Nintendo was the publisher we looked at and was like, you know, you're getting day one patches for Ubisoft games, and, you know, a lot of these publishers are relying on updates to sort of, you know, fix their games when they get released. And that's either for better or for worse, depending on how your internet is and all that, and whether you care about having to update when you put the disc in. But with a game like Strikers, it needs to be on the cartridge and put it in. It's like, all right, let's play some soccer. Let's do some modes. Let's have fun with a bit of variety. But it just isn't there. You're just doing the same game again and again, and you can sort of influence your stats of your characters with gear, but that's about as much as the variety comes. And a game like Strikers, it just needs more variety. I feel like you mentioned a story mode. I don't need a story mode for Mario Strikers. I don't think they could have made it very interesting. Even like FIFA, like the story modes, like, all right, we get it. He's a professional. He's going through the thing, whatever. But just a bit of variety in the modes. They could have, like even in the tutorial, it's like, all right, utilize all of these things we taught you. So you like do this many passes, score this many goals, do this many chips. And they could have done like little missions where it's like, do these 4 things in one game. And that's something to sort of do in your free time. Pull off, like, do this many hyper strikes. Well, okay, that's a cool little challenge to do. They could have done stuff similar to maybe what they ask you to do in Mario Kart DS with those mission modes, where you just got to pull off certain things. So that could have been cool. There could have been other things where it's like a mushroom is always on, so it's all super fast, characters running around everywhere. And those sort of features, they're not brand new assets. They're just putting in different varieties to play the game in. And I got no sort of faith that stuff like that is going to come in updates. I feel like they're going to be concentrating on characters, and they could add another 20 characters to Strikers, and that's not really going to help with the content. I don't really feel like only having 10 characters is that big a deal. If you're missing your favorite character, you're going to feel differently. But as far as like the actual game goes, I think having, I guess, a choice of 4 out of 10 characters for your team is okay. Could definitely do with more, but that's not the main problem with the game at the moment. And just the user score, I've got to sort of agree with some of the sort of criticism people are putting on their reviews, just basically saying like full price game and it's very bare bones, and that shouldn't be the case. Maybe if they want to make a game like this, and it would be great if they could offer it for $50, $30 cheaper or something. I think like that would be a good way to go, but also it gets a bit muddled up when Nintendo's asking different prices for different games. But
I feel like this game is copying it more than the other two, though.
Yeah, I think people are fed up. I think that's mainly what the gist of it is. And
is it people being fed up though, or is it people like having roots in tennis and golf being long-term franchises, and people not really investing much in Strikers like ever? Because the first one that ever came out was on GameCube, which was already a niche console as it was. And then you got Strikers Charge, which didn't sell well because it's not an in-house Nintendo game, and they're not going to push that shit as hard as they would anything else. And now all of a sudden eyes are on Strikers, and people who traditionally love Strikers are like, this is a fucking good sports game. Strikers is easily one of their best sports games, got some of the best characteristics, whatever. And yeah, it has come out bare bones, right? Like, I'm not defending it, right? That's not what the point of this is. But I feel like with golf and tennis, they didn't have functional online. They didn't have functional online at launch. They weren't good. There was no tournament system, whatever, and games in its predecessory, like Toadstool Tour, and was it Toadstool Tour or whatever the fuck it was on 3DS?
Something like that, yeah. Toadstool Tour, wasn't that the GameCube one? But
yeah, maybe it was.
Yeah.
Okay. Mushroom.
See, the thing is, like, yeah, with Mario Golf, I wasn't interested in golf games pretty much until this one came out. So I didn't play that much. I actually went and bought the 3DS one from EB Games when I saw it there. So I've got that copy to play, because apparently that
had functional online.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
functional online,
which makes no sense.
and it was like online that you could play at your own pace too. Like it wasn't like you had to all be online at the same time. You just had to make your shots when you could. Yeah,
and like how perfect is that?
That's fucking it's fantastic.
Yeah.
But like Mario Golf didn't even have that.
Yeah.
And it was kind of just like what the fuck? And then Mario Tennis, like, it had a story mode with like additional challenges and stuff like that. And I think that's great. But like, it was a sports game with no online. And
had online, but I don't know how robust it was. I can't remember now.
No, it wasn't robust at all. It was fucking like really, really half-assed. Like people wanted, you don't play sports games online for friendlies. It's just not what it's not.
It's serious, yeah.
They're competitive. They're all competitive. Look at FIFA. Like, people don't fucking go online to play casual FIFA. That's not something that happens. People play that competitively. And that's like, it's not going to be any different for a Mario game. Like, people don't go on to Smash. Like, they don't go into fucking Smash. They don't go online to fucking play for fun. They absolutely don't. Nobody fucking plays for fun. They all play for glory. Are you kidding? People want to stroke their fucking egos.
Okay,
Like, that's the point.
well. Yeah, that's why they get rid of the for fun and for glory. Everyone's just fucking for glory. No one's playing with this item bullshit.
Literally, nobody wants to fucking do that. Like, so, but that's the thing. It's just like that's.
I want to play for fun. I'm not good enough for glory, so I'm good. I'm good with for fun these days.
Yeah, but how often do you fucking play Smash Online?
Yeah, well, I don't, because even the for fun, they probably beat me too.
And even when you do play Smash Online, you jump into privatized lobbies with people, and they're playing with fucking for glory rules. You can't fucking bullshit.
Yeah, I'll pretty much jump in your streams these days, just jumping in for Smash Brothers that way.
Exactly. Which tomorrow night I'm supposed to be doing that as well. So
okay.
Yeah.
So if you're listening to this the night the podcast goes out, go and check out Bryce. Play some Smash with him.
Yeah. I'm gonna go play some Smash. But yeah, that's the thing. It's just like this at least has functional online, and I'm waiting to see how the season starts and stuff like that, and sort of see how it accumulates. We work together as a club and what have you. But I don't feel like in terms of actually what it is, it's been any worse than the other two, but it seems to get bashed the most. And like, I know that it's probably like, it's partially because it's like the third time in a row, but I feel like people were more willing to make excuses for tennis and golf than they are strikers, because a lot more new people are coming into strikers. I don't think the game is bad functionally. I think the game is fine functionally. I just think it suffers problems that the other two sports games already did. But like functionally, golf is fine with button controls, but it's fucking motion controls that just anus. I hate them. They're fucking terrible.
I never tried them. I just assumed that's something I want to stay away from.
No, because I was expecting like it's an arcade fucking golf game. It's not Tiger Woods PGA Tour 2022. I just wanted a simple, okay, all right, make my selections, whack the ball like Wii Sports. But no, it's got like, you like line up, you like line it up on the TV, and just like going to track like every fucking little jitter that you do, and you go to swing the fucking golf club and you miss the ball, or you fucking hit it in an awkward angle and it goes fucking flying off into the like. It's an arcade fucking, it's a fucking Mario Golf game. It's not fucking PGA.
God, we're getting you rallied up, man. Getting the fucks out of you. Jeez.
But that's what I mean. It was like half the game that I would have wanted it for. Unfortunately, it just fucking like fell to the wayside. I think it's fun with button controls, but like the motion controls absolutely pissed me off. And then like there was just with tennis, like there was a lot of neat things in the single player. But then, like, in the online multiplayer, until they actually started offering rewards and shit like that, it was just pointless. I think that's where my biggest concern is going to be at the moment with strikers, actually, because, like, with tennis and golf, they were like, oh, play so many matches and you get, like, different colored Yoshis, or play so many matches and you get, like, fucking Blooper as a character in Mario Tennis or some bullshit. But like in this, what are they gonna be offering? Are they gonna be like, play this? You're gonna have to play 50 matches to get Daisy, otherwise you just don't get her. It's like, oh
yeah, I'm not sure. I don't think they will for this, but it probably will be skins and stuff like that. And there's also one. I was really surprised as well, just with the clubs and the amount of like customizability with them. And I know this was in a trailer, but you can like, you know, choose your home ground. You can customize the goals, the pitch, the crowd. You can upgrade like each stadium, so multiple times, and that's all through your currency that your club is earning as a collective. And I guess concentrate on some of the positives. I think the club sort of aspect is really cool. It gives me exactly what I wanted from Mario Golf. Mario Golf, I wanted to do some holes. I wanted to see, oh look, Bryce beat me on this course. I'm going to try again and beat Bryce. And then it puts me up the leaderboard. It just needs simple leaderboards. That's all I was asking from Mario Golf. That would have made that game something I would be still playing today if there was leaderboards or a tournament system where it didn't have to be playing all at the same time. That's all I wanted. But it wasn't there. But with the clubs, I'm really enjoying just sort of, you know, having the sort of banter in our Discord community and sort of, you know, earning the currency. So you can just like play by yourself and you earn money that goes towards your club, and then we can make purchases and stuff like that. I think it works really well, and I'm looking forward to seeing how just like the ranking system works once the actual season starts, because the season was still like 9 days off at the time of launch. So yeah, I'm keen to see how that works. I'm sure it'll work as advertised, I assume. But just online play as well. Online play seems to be working pretty well. A little bit laggy, but depends on... I notice a lot of the times when it's a bit laggy, it's because someone's playing in handheld mode, because you can see what controller they're using, and they're like Wi-Fi symbols like 1 bar. So they must be in bed away from their router or something when they're playing online. So I don't know if that's got anything to do with it, but it seemed to work fine enough for me.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I had a pretty common experience. I think it's been pretty alright. It's definitely nowhere near as problematic as something like Smash Bros or what have you. I think it's pretty straightforward. Works alright. Yeah, that's what it needs to.
Yeah. So we're going to play a little bit more, see what this sort of club feature is once everything gets turned on for it, and we'll do a bit of a proper review discussion about the game later on Encore at the House of Mario. Put our final thoughts out there, but I think for the most part, really enjoying it. There's a lot missing from it, and I just feel a little bit weird saying, go and pick it up for $80. Don't know if I'm that comfortable saying that to someone who, only picks up a few games a year. They're definitely not going to get their value out of this compared to another game on Switch. Like, for example, Fire Emblem Three Hopes comes out. You're going to get a lot more gameplay out of that if that's up your alley.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So,
and that's the thing is, like, when we've got so much coming up and we know what's coming up, is it really something you're going to buy if you're not already invested in Strikers? Like,
yeah. And it's hard
personally, it's something I would.
Yeah, it's hard to say too, because we were so excited for Strikers, and I think just gameplay wise, we're happy. But
yeah,
come on, Nintendo, just put more content in your games. You're starting just to piss them out, just like nothing. It's a bit, it's getting frustrating.
Not just put more content in your games, just fucking let your sports games do what they want. Stop making this time-gated fucking content bullshit that makes you think that is going to keep the community active, because that's what it is, right? They're releasing at bare bones. They're releasing content in the hopes that people just be like, oh, look, Daisy's coming out this month. I better play a whole bunch of Strikers. So it keeps the online going, which means that their servers are actually being used. But the problem is that doesn't fucking work if people don't want to buy the game in the first place.
Definitely,
so you need to put enough content in the game to let people make that decision to buy the game at all first. And then once you've done that, yeah, sure, add more content. But obviously there's not enough in there. People are very, very divisive about this game. I think a lot of the reception is that the gameplay is fine, but there's fucking nothing to do with it.
Yeah, unless you got, like, if you don't have people sitting on the couch with you too, you're going to get a lot less enjoyment out of it.
Yeah, yeah, because that's what Striker's Charge was for us.
Yeah, no, we had a lot of great memories of that one.
Remember, the Completionist did a Striker's Charged episode, and he was like, the one fucking problem with the Striker's Charged is that it's such a fucking good game. But
it's the only problem. It's too good.
You can't fucking find. You'll never find anybody online for it ever. Even when it was relevant, it was hard enough to find people online because the game is just not. It's just not supported as much as tennis or golf would be, because it's not in house.
Yeah, because with Striker's Charge, like, the different stadiums had different, like, terrain and different effects and all of that, where it's all like, when I think about it, I don't know if I want that. It's hectic enough as it is, but they definitely had a lot more variety.
It's good as a competitive soccer game. I think it's great. And, like, in the age of, like, FIFA is fucking, gone out the window, and then now renaming it and, like, all this bullshit. And, like, my fucking comments about, like, oh, we need a fucking Strikers because FIFA's shit. I still stand by that sentiment. I think fucking Strikers is way more fun. But, like, why the fuck does it have to be so bare bones? Come on.
Come on, Nintendo. Come on. All right. Want to move on to the news, bros?
Sure.
Woohoo! Yeah! Pika, pika! Is that all?
I fight for my friends.
Yahoo!
My body is still
The fuck? Bryce has a soundboard now too, and I'm just... Oh no, he's got too much power.
Taco Bell bong. There you go.
So I had to mention this because, who knows? It might turn true, but, there's been a rumor, Bryce, for a Nintendo Direct, and there's been a lot of rumors this month, but I only bring this up because there might be a little bit of leverage to it. So Alana Pierce, she mentioned on one of her streams that there was going to be a Nintendo Direct on the 29th of June, and she's quoted for saying, "Is there a Nintendo Direct announced? No, I believe there is a Nintendo Direct coming on the 29th. I don't know that that's been announced. You heard it here first. Let me check. I've written it down. The 29th. Yeah, June 29th. Nintendo Direct. It's not technically a leak because Nintendo didn't tell me, which is how I make that call, but I'm not leaking anything that's in it, which is why I think it's shitty." So, yeah, I only bring this up because Alana Pierce, unlike a lot of these people that have, quote unquote Nintendo Direct leaks, which turn out to be nothing, she's not looking for any sort of credibility or clout. I think she is saying this because she actually heard this from someone that she believes is in the know. So apart from that, I'm just bringing that up. I don't have to talk about it too much, but just on our point before, I don't understand why people are always like, don't get me wrong, it's a lot of fun, Nintendo Directs. When one gets announced, fantastic. Let's get into hype mode, speculation mode, what's coming out, what's going to be announced. But if they got nothing to say at the moment, just let it be. Play some games on your Switch already. I'm sure something's out on your PlayStation. Go and play that. Maybe go and play The Simpsons Hit and Run on PC. 2003.
Right.
Relive it, man. I loved it.
I think it's really weird that Alana is the one sort of chucky in the sense about this, though.
Yeah, it was so just blasé too. She's like, "Oh yeah, no, 29th. Yeah, that's when it is." It's
Yeah,
like,
what the fuck?
Like someone who probably asked that on her stream is like, "When's a Nintendo Direct?" And she says it, probably like, "Oh fuck, I wasn't expecting anything from that."
Well, guess we need to expect a Nintendo Direct then. Okay, boys, let's go.
Get into hype mode. If it doesn't happen, just rip someone a new butthole.
Look, whether it I'm of the full belief that something will still happen because it's uncharacteristic and there's way too much big shit coming out to not talk about it. But a lot of the stuff that's already going to be there, like we just know, we already know what's coming.
Yeah, we know a lot of it, definitely. Hopefully, my only hope is just like one more big game that's like a Mario game or whatever it is. I don't know, but it's missing that just one bigger thing. Just from the last couple of years, we haven't had that one game, which is like, oh, I cannot wait. Breath of the Wild 2 is one of them, but that's a little way off. I would like something to start one bit more, but realistically, I'm not really asking for too much. I think recently I picked up a whole heap of stuff on Switch, a lot of stuff coming to PS5 that I'm looking forward to. Picked up a bunch of games on Steam sales and that. So I'm just not really that hungry for brand new games, but obviously we'll be playing them. We'll be behind them when they get announced and come out.
But they are, Drew. They'll be ravenous. They're like, where's my Nintendo Switch games?
Yeah. But we might see a brand new Fire Emblem game, Bryce. There's been one that's been leaked. And just from the dot points, there's been actually screenshots shown as well. So it's actually potentially pretty likely. Who knows?
It was the same thing with the there's been videos going around of like Sprigatito's Final Evolution and stuff too, though. There's a lot of stuff going around at the moment, and I don't know how trustworthy it is because it's like all of a sudden it's just all come out of the woodwork at the same time. Like, oh, here's Fire Emblem. Now here's Pokemon. It's like, cool. So is it just a guy that's like fucking walked into Nintendo headquarters? It's just like, can I see what you're working on here? Let me just take a good old video of it. Thanks, mate. See you later. Oh, come on. What the fuck?
Yeah, I mean, like Pokemon's pretty likely to leak. Maybe this early. It's like, holy shit, that's unfortunate. But Fire Emblem, who knows? But let's go over the doc points that are actually listed here. So what they can share about the new Fire Emblem game is that it's a new game, not a remake with a brand new story. It's in collaboration with Intelligent Systems, Koei Tecmo, and Gust. And Gust is a division of Koei Tecmo, and they actually work on the Atelier games, which I was talking about a couple of weeks ago. So, and honestly, Gust working on sort of the graphical side of things, they make really nice looking graphics for Switch. So I'm glad that they're working on it. I think they look quite nice. Gust is heavily associated with the visuals and graphics, so, like I said. And apparently it's an improvement over Three Houses. That's, I guess, subjective, but who knows when we see the game. Originally intended for as an anniversary game to celebrate Fire Emblem's 30th anniversary. The game has been finished for over a year, and that's the point that I was actually surprised about. If this is true, and there's been a Fire Emblem game just on the back burner, waiting for the perfect time to strike, yeah, it's interesting that it get announced or come out this year, but honestly, I don't see any room for a Fire Emblem this year. Just with like Xenoblade Chronicles and everything that's coming out, I don't know where Fire Emblem sort of is necessary to fit in.
I think it'd be next year.
Yeah, I think it will be too. Like, even if it is finished, yeah, it's just, I really don't see the need for it. I think sort of that niche has been sort of filled up, but who knows?
What people really need to understand about like Nintendo or like your favorite gaming company and stuff like that is that, like, even if they say this game has been finished for 8 years, timing of sale is such an important and integral part to a game's success that it's like beyond it, right? It's like if they sold this shit while Zelda's out, if they're like half a week until Zelda, they're like, oh, let's just drop Fire Emblem here, and then like Zelda comes out, that game is not gonna fucking sell. Sorry, it's not gonna happen. Do you know what I mean? So, like, yeah, it might be finished for a year, and they'll probably they could hold on to it for fucking 2 more.
It's like a fine wine, a video game just ages fantastically.
Well, no, it's just like on a system like the Switch, it's all gonna fucking look like shit anyway. Because so who gives a fuck?
Yeah,
it's
true.
not gonna change anything. Like it's not fucking. It's not like Xbox and PlayStation where they're sort of like, as years goes on, they find ways to, I guess, push the system even further to make things look even more impressive by the time the end of the console's life hits. It's like with the Switch, this hardware in any other box is technically already years old. They can already sort of hit their limits, and that was already like obvious proof with Breath of the Wild on launch day, right? Like, getting anything like that working on a tablet in that day and age was just like, holy fuck. And then, like, give it a couple years down the track and Genshin Impact comes out. It's essentially the same thing, but it's working on a mobile phone. And that's not even it's not even pushing the limits. It's like, at the end of the day, the Switch was already pushing some of its limits from day one, and like Breath of the Wild 2, it's going to be in the similar situation of like, it'll probably push its limits a little bit more than what the first one did, but it's probably not going to be like, wow, look at this fucking tree, it's got 17 apples on it and 3 Koroks sitting in it, and it's like, no, it's not. No way.
No. So do you feel like you're excited for a new Fire Emblem game? Do you feel the need for one? Personally, I don't know.
I think it's too soon.
Yeah, I don't know if it's too soon, but I guess we do have a new Fire Emblem game next week, technically from Koei Tecmo, with the Warriors, Fire Emblem Warriors, Three Hopes.
I think that's a momentum thing, but the biggest thing with Fire Emblem, well, the biggest thing with Nintendo's big hitters being like in each genre is that Fire Emblem is obviously like their strategy big hitter now. But it would have been a shorter time between Fire Emblem games than it would have been Zelda. I think they could just spend more time putting more effort into it. And like, there's other things that I'm hoping for when it comes to this fucking Nintendo Direct, but like, a lot of them are not just like, here's a fucking huge new game like fucking Fire Emblem or something like that coming out. I'm not expecting it, and I don't really think it needs it right now. I think Three Houses was a fucking great game, and I think there's still a lot of people that need to play Three Houses. But unfortunately, like, it's just, yeah, all of a sudden it's just like, here's another Fire Emblem game, brand new Fire Emblem game. It's just like, for some reason it's leaked in China. Like,
Yeah.
okay.
I'm really looking forward to Three Hopes, actually. Just having that sort of story just remixed and look with a different outcome, but in the Warriors gameplay, because I don't know, I probably really appreciate that world, just being able to hack and slash and do the strategy just a bit more lightly and putting troops in certain places and all that. I got the demo downloaded, but this week I feel like I might just wait until the full game and not worry about the demo. But we'll see how we go later on in the week and if I get to it or not. But are you going to pick it up, you reckon?
No, not straight away.
Not straight away?
We were having this talk about it in the Discord, actually, but, it's either 7 or 8 Warriors games on Switch now.
Jeez.
It's like heat. That's fuck tons.
Yeah.
2 of them are Hyrule Warriors. 2 of them are Hyrule Warriors. 2 of them are Fire Emblem Warriors. Then you've got Samurai Warriors. Then you've got Warriors Orochi 4. Then you've got Dynasty Warriors 9 or 8, one of the two. And then you've got Persona 5 Scramble. So I suppose that's 8. There's just shit tons. There's fucking shit tons of Muso games. And you know what? I buy all of them because I like Muso. There's a lot of people in our community that aren't a fan of like that whole just like, I'm going to hack and slash and stuff like that. But I think it's very important to sort of like recognize that while it's not awesome and it's definitely an oversaturated market on the Switch, we wouldn't have stuff like Age of Calamity if it weren't for that, like that developer being there, if I'm honest. Because
yeah, it's awesome for Koei because just being able to take over IP and make them into a Warriors game, put the skins over essentially their gameplay systems, and Bob's your uncle. I think it's awesome for that, and you can sort of see franchises in different light. Because like for me, I think having a Fire Emblem game like that, I think it's really great because I love the story, the characters, the world. But when I get to like the battles, I'm like, I kind of just want to fast forward through them. To be honest, I want to get back to the academy and talk to all the characters and strengthen the relationships, do all that stuff. But
like when it comes to like Age of Calamity, for example, in that lineup, it's obvious that the moment that they said they were doing the sequel, that they were going to need to round out the story completely, which they couldn't do without going into the past. And there was no fucking way they were going to fit 3 Breath of the Wild games on Switch.
Yeah, no, with how long it takes to make.
So it's just like, you get Koei to make a Warriors game. First of all, it makes sense because it's in the midst of a big war.
Yeah,
right?
no, perfect setting. Yeah.
Perfect setting for them to do a big fucking hack and slash game. Second of all, it allows the team who are developing the sequel to actually just work on the sequel. And then, at the end of the day, you still get your 3 titles in the series. The unfortunate thing is that there are people that don't like Muso games and they'll have to deal with it if they want the full story. But in saying that, it simply wouldn't exist without the Muso game because they wouldn't have the time. And like, that's the case with the Three Hopes, right? They would not make a second fucking Three Houses game just to fill the time because they don't have the time for it. And there's no point. They already tried to do that with Fates and having 3 fucking different games, and it didn't really go well at all. Like, I think people think they're fine enough Fire Emblem games, but it didn't do this. It didn't have the same effect that it did with fucking Fire Emblem Awakening.
Yeah, the Pokemon, the Pokemonification of Fire Emblem, where it's like, all right, so I'm hardcore. What version do I have to play again? Or I want a lighter experience. Which one do I play? That was sort of the weirder aspect because since they were so different, it's like, all right, which one do I actually play?
Yeah, that's right. It wasn't like Pokemon where like you could just pick one, and then like at the end of the day, it was just like, oh, so the correct option was to wait like a year down the track when they released the 3rd version that pretty much had both in.
Well, it was in like the special edition that you got the 3rd one. Like you couldn't even buy it by itself.
Yeah.
Which was just like, it's really frustrating now, but the eShop's going down. So the price of that special edition with that 3rd version is, you're going to be paying a pretty penny if you want to play a bit of I think it's just like a combination of 2, or a little bit
No,
harder. I can't remember exactly what the third one was.
You can choose to not pick either side. So
That's right. Yeah. Yep.
The whole point of the two games was you picked side, but the third version you could pick either or you could pick none and do your own thing. So it was basically an entire third game.
Pretty much, it kind of what Three Houses is. You got 3 paths to go down, have fun.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
That's right. But it's in one game. It's not
as it probably should have been. Yeah,
it's not separated between 3, and then that's the thing is there's 3 options in one game, right? You're already going to be playing that game 3 times. So what the fuck is the point of the developer wasting their time and spending another set of time developing another game in the Three Houses universe that is just an alternate story? Like, there's no point. They might as well just make the next Fire Emblem game because it's going to interest more people moving on to the next big Fire Emblem game with new things to sort of settle in and stuff like that. And you can just get Koei to do a fucking Warriors game that changes the story up a bit and gives you more, time in the world without having to worry about. It's obvious they love doing them because there's so many of them now.
I love doing them. It strengthens the bank.
Well, it's the thing. It's just you might as well just let them keep doing it. It provides more stuff for the worlds you love. Might not be potentially in the gameplay style that you prefer, but it simply wouldn't exist without it. So it's either you consume it or you don't, and that's entirely up to you, realistically.
Yeah, no, for sure. I'm looking forward to the game coming out later this week anyway. So we'll see if it's good. Hopefully, fingers crossed. Moving on, we got a bit of a leak from Square Enix. We did have sort of a taste of this from the NVIDIA leak a little while ago, but on the PlayStation Store, Tactics Ogre Reborn was leaked. And I bring this up just because it's been a sort of a game a lot of people have been looking forward to just having a remaster of from the PSP. But also, we're having some Square Enix games that, haven't been announced in a sea of announcements. So typically Square Enix likes to sort of announce these strategy games at a Nintendo Direct. We've seen it plenty of times before. And, don't know, might happen later this month. Might be something some credibility to Nintendo hosting in their own event. Who knows? But have you been a fan of the Tactics games, Bryce? I don't think you have been, but it's something something that I've been wanting to give a go a little bit, but I'm looking forward to actually Digimon Survive in late July. That's what I'm looking forward to as far as that type of game goes. But we'll see if it's real.
Well,
all right.
A lot of things from that list has come real.
Yeah, it's insane. All the Square Enix leaks, even was it Kingdom Hearts 4 was on there. All the Square Enix games have pretty much been announced by now.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
All right, just kind of an interesting tidbit from an interview about Pokemon Red and Blue. It's just the multiplayer battles were included at the last minute, which is just kind of baffling to think about. But this is an article from Nintendo Life, and the article reads, "We can't really think about Pokemon without battling other players with our friends. Whether it's battling, trading, or exploring secret bases, playing and sharing experiences with others feels like a vital aspect of the series. Yet one of these features was almost not included with the original Pokemon Red and Blue. Multiplayer battles have become pretty much their own thing nowadays, with competitions worldwide and the availability of Wi-Fi online battling, but Game Freak almost didn't program it into the game. The Pokemon Red and Blue was a step away from the action games. Interesting way of describing Pokemon. Game Freak used to make. In a recent video from Did You Know Gaming, an interview unearthed from the 1999 Pokédex book reveals that producer Morimoto was concerned that battling other players would be difficult to program and also just wasn't interested. Quote, "The president wanted us to implement battling for a while, but I personally didn't find the idea very interesting and just thought it would be a pain to program." Laughs. It looked like we would run out of time and would have to scrap the battling feature, but Nintendo made it clear that they wanted battles in the game, so we had to make it happen. Nintendo, however, stepped in as the big N was funding the production of the game. Game Freak had little choice to add it. Initially, the company programmed it so the battles were more like exhibitions where you watched your Pokemon fight and you had no input. But Nintendo rejected this idea, so they had to push through at the last second. Quote, so just as fought, well, no choice then, it had to be done, and early battles were something that you just watched. You would just see there was a battle and who won and who lost. Kind of like a Tamagotchi now I think of it. We showed that to Nintendo, and the surveys we got back, it looked boring. Laughs. I guess they were right, and we were cutting it close to the deadline, trying to add in battles that the player commands. Ultimately, everybody wanted, so we got to work with the link cable and made it a reality. So we ended there. Bryce, could you imagine Pokemon without battling in the original Red and Blue? And I do
like a lot of the purpose.
Yeah, and the way it sounds is like, remember back to our Digimon Tamagotchi days, where, for those that don't know, which is probably everyone I dare say, because we haven't said it before, I don't think, but we pretty much became friends over Digimon Tamagotchis in the schoolyard. I remember saying to my friends like, oh, is there anyone else who we can battle? And they pointed out, there's those guys over there. So we went over there, and like it was like you and two other people, and we linked Digimon Tamagotchis, and we're battling and all that type of thing. And I absolutely loved those days. I'm very nostalgic about the Digimon Tamagotchis, but it kind of sounds like that's what the Pokemon games were going for, where it's just like link up, you win. Like it just does some quick mathematics. Your Pikachu beat this Pikachu because you have higher attack and higher speed. And that could have been what Pokemon was. It could have been very basic. And considering the rest of the game was assumably the same with battling, it just seems like a weird thing not to include. And, you know, thank God there was somebody just at Nintendo being like, look, we need this. If you want it to be a big thing, we're going to have to really push on this multiplayer aspect with the trading and the battling, because that's ultimately what made Pokemon what it is. It's just a lot of RPGs, you can get into the minutiae of the battle system and all that, but it doesn't offer what Pokemon offers, where it is very much like, I want that, I can make a trade, and it just works perfect for kids because it's all about collecting and trading and working together and raising your team and banning one another. So if the series didn't go down that track in the first place, it would have been really interesting.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, would have been.
Another sort of interesting thing that came out of this Did You Know Gaming video was Game Freak originally wanted the first Pokemon game to have, get this, Bryce, 65,000 variations. So, all right. So just like putting these two like headline facts together, they're like, oh fuck, we can't be bothered putting the battling in, but we will have 65,000 variations. And I'm pulling this article from Go Nintendo, and the article reads, Pokemon Red and Blue were pretty incredible creations for their time, offering all sorts of variety in Pokemon and more. That's why it's pretty crazy to learn that the developer Game Freak originally had a much grander vision for the Pokemon franchise debut. In the recent episode of Did You Know Gaming, it digs through a ton of old Pokemon interviews to discover some brand new facts, and one of them points to the variety Game Freak wanted in their Pokemon Red and Blue. Believe it or not, the developer originally intended for there to be 65,000 variations between the two games, and this would all relate to the trainer's ID system. When the trainers start up Pokemon Red and Blue, the original plan for them was to get a trainer ID that would be somewhere between 1 and 65,000. Depending on the number that was given, a player would see slight differences in Pokemon that appeared, the shapes of locations in each game, and more. This obviously would have taken much more time to develop, and the variations between the trainer IDs would have been minor in some instances. So, yeah, just it's kind of interesting, like, how you maybe could have some, I guess, variety in games, and as you're going through in the schoolyard, you're like, hey, look, in my game, this town's got this house in this area. So, oh, this person's in this area, and it's all different, and it sort of sparks discussion. But apart from that, this is a pretty useless feature that would have been just a nightmare to code on the original Game Boy, which is probably ultimately why it didn't happen. But it's just funny how one very important feature is like, yeah, look, take a lot of work, man. Then the other one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Imagine it. Imagine that experience being what it was. Like the thing is that's 100% possible in today's day and age. But fucking, holy shit!
Yeah, Game Freak, do it now. I want my house in every single city within Pokemon Violet and Scarlet in a different place to what Bryce's is. That's really going to improve my gameplay experience. Every place we go to, we're like, Bryce's? Is this tree in front of your windows? Like, no, it's not. Oh, bloody incredible.
I think it's something they could definitely fucking pull off, and they do that in variations of gameplay, like fucking Pixelmon in Minecraft, for example.
Yeah. Or like Animal Crossing,
Or Animal Crossing, yeah, that's right. But like Game Freak trying to pull that off, I don't know, man. That's
Oh look,
it's possible in the year 2022, but Game Freak pulling it off is what has me confused. I don't see that.
Yeah, don't ask too much, Bryce. Don't ask too much. Get what you're given, mate. All right, we're Pokemon fans. We can't criticize Pokemon. It looks awesome. It's gonna be fantastic. 10 out of 10. Don't you dare say the trees look like shit. Don't you dare. Twitter will have you by the balls.
Whoa.
That's right. Another story. This is actually pretty cool. A brand new 8-bit Do controller has been announced, and it's basically for people with, limited mobility. So it's I think 8-bit Do, they make absolutely fantastic hardware. I've got their Pro controller, fantastic. Bryce has it. If you want a decent D-pad on a Nintendo Switch controller, please get that controller. It's absolutely fantastic. It's like got back buttons on it as well. Very good controller, and they're actually doing work. So people that don't have full access to their hands, they've got all these different options for different buttons and all of that on this controller. It's coming out later this year. So just something to keep an eye on if you are someone who, doesn't have all that greater mobility with your hands, because I think video games is really special. It's something you can sit down and play, but if you've got something, with your hands that you can't access every single button, or you might not even have arms, I don't know. I think just like the work Xbox done with their
adaptive controller.
Yeah, adaptive controller. I think that was absolutely awesome. Just like bringing gaming to people that typically couldn't hold your traditional controller is it just warms my heart every single time. And the more companies that get involved in this, the better. Because as Nintendo fans, I think, speaking of Game Freak, with Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu, Let's Go Eevee, there was no accessibility in that game. If you couldn't throw that Pokeball, you weren't playing that game. Which is it's like, can I just use the stick and press the A button to throw a Pokeball like you do in handheld mode, for example? No, you can't. So yeah, just bringing that sort of accessibility to Switch is a great thing. Mm-hmm. All right, a bit more of a serious topic with regarding Saudi Arabia again. They've acquired $1 billion stake in Embracer Group, Bryce. And every time sort of the Saudi government gets involved in some of these dealings again, I'm going to bring it up on the show and we'll discuss it, just to bring it up into light with those that listen to us. But this article's from gamesindustry.biz, and the article reads, Saudi Arabia has bought a $1 billion stake in Embracer Group, the equivalent of approximately 8.1% of the company's shares. The shares were purchased through the Saudi Gaming Group, a subsidiary that is 100% owned and operated by Saudi Arabia's public investment fund led by Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman. Quote, over the past few years, Saudi-based entities have become one of the most significant investors in the global gaming market. And the games market in the MENA is one of the world's fastest growing, with 8.7 billion in 2021 revenues and more active gamers than either the US or Western Europe, said Embracer founder CEO Lars Windfors. Quote, our relationship with the Saudi Gaming Group will enable us to set up a regional hub in Saudi Arabia, from which we'll be able to make investments across the MENA region, either organically via partnerships, joint venues, or via acquisitions of companies led by strong entrepreneurs. Back in May, PIF also acquired a 5% stake in Nintendo. It also owns a minor stake in Capcom and Nexon, worth around $1 billion in total. So just another sort of example of Saudi Arabia putting their money into the gaming industry. Nintendo was definitely not the last time we will see this put in. And I think just companies like with Embracer Group, obviously they've got so many teams under their wing. This is just a massive investment for Saudi Arabia, and they're actually going to have a place on the board. And I wouldn't be surprised if their influence in Embracer Group just grows and grows with more investments and all that. So just something to keep an eye on. Yeah, especially after Tomb Raider, where Crystal Dynamics was purchased by the Embracer Group. It's like, oh shit. We're not going to be able to not spend our money on this if you want to play modern video games, unfortunately. But yeah. Anything to say on this, Bryce?
Look, unfortunately, they're just going to keep doing what they're doing.
Mm.
I really don't know what else. I think it's just only sort of propping up more recently too because of these the quick scale investments. And I think the problem will never go away. We can never agree with it. But I just hope that their investments never get large enough to have like pure influential dealings in the company, like at all.
Yeah. From what we're hearing, that isn't going to be the case, but down the track when they get more power, who knows? But for now, we can feel safe.
Well, that's right, yeah. And that is 100% the biggest concern we should all be worried about, is that in the future, maybe if they hold enough of a stake, that maybe they'll have enough power to do something with it. But for now, we can't really see it much more than anything else than just what it is, I guess. Yeah,
and just to re-emphasize why this is a concern, Saudi Arabia, just their views on, women's rights, people's rights, the things they've done with journalism over there, obviously killing the journalists, allegedly, Jesus Christ, don't kill us, Mr. Prince, but just things like that. We don't want to be, I guess, investments to be put into products that we like. But I think it's not just the video game industry that's been affected by this. So this is going to be something that's going to be sticking around. But be keeping an eye on it. Be keeping an eye on it anyway.
They also have the most evil-sounding emergency alarm system alarm ever.
Oh, I haven't heard the emergency alarm. I haven't snuck in there recently.
Right. So, okay. A shout out to a friend of mine by the name of Barcotel TV, who streams on Twitch, but he a few weeks back, I'd say probably about a month ago back, he did a smash or pass, and it was on the worldwide the world's emergency alarm system.
Okay. Jesus Christ, that's random as fuck. Okay.
I will send you some clips after, because fuck, they make me laugh. They're so funny. But Saudi Arabia's sounds like somebody's like hitting the piano, like the organ key for like Jafar walking in. Like Jafar from Aladdin walking in. It's like, it sounds evil. I'm just like, oh my, yeah. I'll have to send you some clips after we're done here, because fucking hell, it's funny.
It's so funny. It's probably fitting then if it sounds like that. Yeah. Just another little story that if you play games on iOS on your Apple devices, you can now play with your Pro Controller and Joy-Cons, which is actually kind of cool. So if there's like a case for your iPhone that fits Joy-Cons, it kind of becomes a Switch, like literally a Switch. If you're playing with Joy-Cons, that's cool. There's lots of cool little games on Apple Arcade and stuff if you sign up to that. So pretty neat. And I guess really you can even get stuff like Dead Cells and a fair few indie games for like kind of like a lot cheaper than you would on Switch. And if you're playing with the exact same controls, I don't know, it's kind of a weird thing.
Yeah, well, but I suppose it was always going to happen.
Yeah, no, it's just cool.
Supporting literally every other controller. So
yeah, you can play with your DualSense, your Xbox Series controllers. So yeah, may as well play with your Pro controller too.
Yeah.
Next up, we got James Turner, who is one of the Pokemon designers, actually the art director for Pokemon Sword and Shield at Game Freak. the first Western art designer at Game Freak. He's recently left to start his own studio, which has been pretty cool. So the studio is called All Possible Futures, and we saw one of the games at the Devolver Digital Showcase for Summer's Game Fest. But just focusing on, I guess, the Pokemon side of things, this was a sort of a big thing, just James Turner leaving. He's had his sort of fair share of designing about 20 Pokemon since Shadow Lugia and Pokemon XD, was it? Pokemon Shadow Yeah, it was XD. Yeah, Coliseum was Ho-Oh. So yeah, just like one of the only sort of Western designers at Game Freak is now left. He's designed Pokemon like Vanillite, Vanillish, Vanilluxe, Golurk, Mandibuzz, Phantump, Trevenant, and he's done a few of the Ultra Beasts as well. So Buzzwole, Guzzlord, Pupol.
Saying one out for my boy Center Scorch.
Yeah, Center Scorch designed him, and Gigantamax, Center Scorch, Sinistea, and Poltergeist, which are cool Pokemon from Pokemon Sword and Shield, and the Galarian Zigzagoon line as well. So some pretty cool Pokemon. None of them are my favorite, but definitely some noticeable Pokemon. I think a lot of people are going to give like Vanillite and Vanilluxe a lot of shit because like, oh, it's just an ice cream. So well, that Pokemon actually grew on me quite a lot from Pokemon Black and White. But how do you feel about James Turner leaving?
It's sad because I think he designed some pretty awesome Pokemon, and I think it's always sad to lose somebody who designs something that I fucking love, especially when it comes to like something like Center Scorch. I'm like, but I suppose. You got to move forward, and you've got to, if he wants to make progress and make his own studio, that's fucking awesome. I wish him the best, and just hopefully we get more designs that sort of hold his spirit in place. That'd be nice, but yeah.
It also sort of really explains the massive shift in art direction for Pokemon Violet and Scarlet as well, because with Sword and Shield, James Turner was the art director for that game, and that has a very I think like for the most part, the artwork looks great for Sword and Shield. I guess, graphics aside for, some of the open world areas, but as far as battles and the trainers and the whole look of the game, I thought it looked quite nice. But with the brand new games, they look quite different and, brand new art director. So that sort of makes a lot of sense when you put into the context of the actual team itself. But James Turner, he put this out on Twitter and said that he started up a brand new studio, All Possible Futures. He's I think he's co-running it with another developer from Brisbane, because I got an email from Devolver Digital and they said like All Possible Futures is an Australian studio, but I don't know how that works, because like is it if it's just online and one person's from Australia, then if he's in the UK or wherever he's living, Japan still, not sure. Is it Australian? Or is it just half Australian? Are they moving here? I got no idea. I got a lot of questions, but their first game, the Plucky Squire, looks awesome, and it screams James Turner. It looks like what was that rhythm game called? I always forget what it's called, but he's had a lot of touching in like a lot of non-Pokemon Game Freak games. If you remember like Tempo, the badass elephant, like the art direction looks a lot like that.
Yeah, right.
Have you checked out the Devolver games? Do you know what the Plucky Squire is?
No, I haven't seen it.
Okay, so can I send you a link? I'm trying to send you a link, but it's got like it's a really colourful sort of art book style, and a lot of the game is just sort of like in a 2D art style, and there's even like a bit there where like you're fighting in like a punch out sort of point of view, doing a lot of platforming, doing puzzles, and then there's a bit in the trailer where you actually jump out of the book, and then it becomes like a 3D game.
Oh,
and
nice.
That's sort of all we see from the trailer, but it looks pretty cool. I'll put where's our little chat here?
A little chat.
Yeah, a little chat.
A little chat.
I don't mind a little chat.
Little chat.
There you go. There's the website, Bryce. Go check that out. But yeah, the Plucky Squire, it's definitely one of my most anticipated games coming out next year. Published by Devolver. Definitely got my ears peaked by that. But yeah. Go and check out the trailer, Bryce. See what you think.
Let's see. I'm waiting for the website to load. It seems to be taking a while. Come on.
I'm going to check out the job positions at all possible futures. Let's see if we can get a job here, Bryce. All right, they're looking for senior 3D artists in the Western time zone, so UK, EU, and East US. Can't do that. Lead level designer. Oh, they're looking for Eastern time zone, so Australia. We can fit the time zone, but I don't know if I'm a lead level designer. Maybe not that one. Gameplay programmer. No. So what you'll do, work directly on the game moment-to-moment mechanics. Work autonomously on the game mini-games under the direction of the design director. Create and manage boss encounters. Fix bug existing code. Create and manage AI behaviors. Work with the game's physics engine. No, I don't think I can apply here, Bryce.
Oh no, you poor man. How will you ever face your... the punch. This is really cool.
Yeah, it looks awesome, doesn't it?
Yeah. Looks excellent.
Yeah, and if you follow James Turner on Twitter, you're like, yeah, that's his illustrations. Like, definitely.
Yeah, that's it, yeah. No, that's awesome. I really like that. A very big mixed match of like just about everything. In a little like Zelda style adventure game. I think that's cool.
Yeah, so I'm really looking forward to it.
And you sent me another link, I see.
I have, yes. So this is the next story, Bryce. This comes from fanbyte.com. And this is about a 1-2 Switch sequel that, don't know, we might see one day. But I thought it was interesting nevertheless. So this is from Imran Khan, and the title is The Wild Story Behind Nintendo's Unannounced 1-2 Switch Sequel. So the article reads, In March 2017, Nintendo released 1-2 Switch, one of the Switch's 2 first-party titles to launch alongside the hardware. While it wasn't exactly a critical competition for The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, the 1vs1 minigame competition was half tech demo, half casual party pleaser for the Wii crowd, but did not materialize for the Wii U. In that respect, the game was a success, to the tune of 3.45 million copies that produced a rather significant return on investment. It made sense for Nintendo to start working on a sequel. Where is that sequel, however, is a much stranger story. The information represented in this article gathered from multiple sources with knowledge of the product in question. While these sources are represented in the published story as anonymous, we have verified their connections and are posting the information they gave us with the utmost faith in their accuracy. As always, the video game industry is secretive and fickle. Things can change regardless of how accurate the information is right now. It is also possible we will never know for sure. We have reached out to Nintendo for comment on this story, but have not received a response by the time of publishing. Accounts differ on exactly whether the sequel to 1-2 Switch started development. The title, which sources say settled on everybody's 1-2 Switch at one point, went through a few variations as the developers struggled with the core question. How exactly do we make a sequel to 1-2 Switch? The obvious answer was to add more minigames, as the other iterative... lose my brain here a bit. Iterative party titles had done. But they also wanted to release a title that did not render the first game moot and stop it from selling. The inspiration came from Jackbox Party Games, developers of the Jackbox Party Pack series. Games like You Don't Know Jack, Fibbage, Quiplash, and other popular titles at parties, inspiring the Everybody's 1-2 Switch team to establish a game show-like theme with the host and more participants. as opposed to the original game setup for having 2 users with a Joy-Con each going up against each other. Everybody's 1-2 switch had many more players at once. With the use of smartphones, the game could have lobbies as big as 100 players, plus everybody's 1-2 switch. The idea on paper was solid. Nintendo's EPD Group 4 designed a host of the minigames based on international appeal, a bipedal horse that looked like a man wearing a rubber horse mask. The game's text simply referred to him as horse because he sounded enough like an English word host. Okay, that it would come across in different languages. Minigames would ask players to physically move around the environment for things like musical chairs or to use their phone to play bingo. There was even a game that resembled a vital version of the spin the bottle that involved saying something nice about the other person. It tested horribly. You can see why. When the playtesting groups received the game, the feedback to the development team was brutal. The target audiences Nintendo was hoping to hit, families with children, found the games boring. Many didn't want to play through entire rounds. In the bingo example, one player would use the Joy-Con to mime digging out a number before reading it off the TV screen, a process that the playtesters reported as tedious. The main mode of the game, the team battle mode, pit at least 2 teams of players against each other in various minigames. This mode featured a horse who would give a color commentary during the games. During the localization process, sources started calling the game horse shit as shorthand. It is important to note that this is not uncommon for the game. Some projects just test badly and get quietly shelved or reworked. It happens far more often than people know, and under normal circumstances, this is what would have happened, and no one would have been the wiser. But no one expected everybody's 1-2 switch to test quite badly as it did. Different trusted employees within Nintendo were raising alarms that the games released as is would damage the company's reputation and as a great software developer. Presuming the extra development would not be a problem, Nintendo went ahead and other publisher duties on the game, like printing out the art cover and placing it in cases for retail release. Per sources, there's still a large number of empty boxes for the title sitting and waiting for the game with no current release date. It is unclear what Nintendo plans to do with the game now. Some sources have said Nintendo executives will not be swayed on the idea of a full $60 retail release for the game, basically saying how well the original 1-2 Switch did in similar circumstances with a poor critical consensus. Some others within the company have suggested making the game an add-on bonus for a higher tier of Nintendo Switch Online, similar to Animal Crossing New Horizons Happy Home Designer expansion and the Mario Kart 8 Deluxe booster pack, especially as the game is so independent on online play for massive lobbies. The quality might matter less, sources argue, if no one is actually paying anything for the game. That question may already be decided internally by the time of writing, but that the answer won't be publicly known until Nintendo announces the game and its plans for it. It is entirely possible that it will never announce the game, take its losses, and quietly shelve it. Our sources do not believe that will happen, though, as they suspect Nintendo will try to get the game out one way or another. Maybe there is a best-case scenario. While everybody who described the game to us mentioned the quality was not there, they also noted the slightest hint of optimism that the team is doing their best to respond to the bad feedback. If and when everybody's 1-2 Switch does release, perhaps it submounts the poor initial response by making the title a little bit better. Maybe like Cinderella leaving out the ball, it just needs a little more magic to get there. That's the article. Sorry if that was a little bit long to read, but I thought it was an interesting sort of story brought up by Imran on Fanbyte. Just a bit of insight into a 1-2 Switch sequel. And Nintendo, sometimes they just get blindsided by a success and don't understand why that success was there in the first place. If Nintendo think they can replicate the same success with a expensive ass game with barely anything to do in it, like 1-2 Switch, and release it now when there's a lot more competition from their competitors and games on the system itself. I think they're dreaming, but what do you think after taking that in?
It doesn't surprise me that they were working on one, and it doesn't surprise me it flops.
Yeah, it's some of the minigame ideas, they sound awful, and hopefully that was at the start of sort of testing these things out, seeing what they're like, and I hope these products are a lot better than what we're hearing here, because I got to be honest here, guys, I haven't been shy about this. I am a 1-2 Switch apologist. Not for the price. I think free with the Switch would have been a good price for it. Maybe $10. You're like, oh, let's check this out. Got some friends over, make a quick purchase on the eShop, give it a quick download. It'll be fun for a night. But a $70 game, that's what it was here in Australia. It was $10, less than your standard full price Nintendo game. Was just way too much. But I think it showed off the Switch in just really magical ways. It utilized the system perfectly, putting it down in a space, just transformed that area into whatever you want it to be, what you're playing in that, I guess, a particular game, and it just opened up your imagination. I thought it was just a really great use of the Joy-Cons. I thought it was really cool, but for them to do it again, there's no reason. They've already got 1-2 Switch. We don't need another game to do that. But
it's a tech demo.
But
that's what its entire purpose was to begin with. So for it to have a sequel doesn't really make a lot of sense.
But what I hope this is I hope they do go down the route for like Nintendo Switch Online users. This is free. It's like, 100 players jump in and play all the games at once. I think that'll be fantastic. That'll be exactly what they should have done with the first game. Just give it to people and say, look, this is what you can do online. This is what is possible to do with online play. It's not just 12-player Mario Kart. Sign up and you get this sort of really fun quiz game you can jump into each night, and it can become a part of the zeitgeist as far as the Nintendo community goes. And I think that is the way to its success. But if it's a $70 product, honestly, don't expect us to cover it on the House of Mario unless Nintendo Australia wants to provide us one, just to let you know, save your money, I guess. But look, if this comes out as a full retail game, but the sad thing is, Bryce, I think Nintendo, being how they are, they've already invested in printing the box art and everything. I feel like they'll just push through anyway, because fuck it, we've made this investment. I think no,
it just won't sell then. It's fine.
Yeah, well, it's going to have to be one of those Reggie moments where someone has to step in and tell these, I guess, higher ups, no,
Mr. Iwata, this won't sell.
Oh, but Reggie.
But Reggie, we don't give our products away for free. Mr. Iwata.
Anyone that listens to the audiobook will get where that's going, but
I love it. It's amazing, but at the same time, oh my god. Mr. Iwata.
Mr. Iwata, you're full of shit.
Reggie, you don't seem to understand what it takes to make a video game. Mr. Miyamoto.
For fuck's sakes, I've been watching you for at least a month. It looks easy as piss. No, anyway, jokes aside, this will probably come up in the future. Like a lot of the things we've brought up, who knows if it's it seems like it's going to be pretty soon if it's going to pop up. So who knows? Yeah. I like how they're just like, we're going to call the host a horse because it sounds like host. And horses are cool, so we'll just use a horse.
Oh, I love horses.
Oh, look, I'm not against horses either, but a host for a horse? Nah. No. Not sure about that, mate.
Nah.
Not sure about that. All right. Well, that brings to the end of the news, Bryce. So, nice little meaty chunk there. Let's jump into the Red Queen releases. Plenty of games that came out. So, let's jump into it. All right, Bryce. So, the first game is Mario Strikers Battle League Football. You can get it for $80 on the Australian eShop. We had a lot of fun with it. We've already talked about it. Go and check it out. Another game is a bit of a re-release, a remake for Nintendo Switch. Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic 2, The Sith Lords, is on Nintendo Switch for $21. Pretty cool. Knights of the Republic 1 was already on Switch, so you can get them both now. Pretty cool. I'm actually really keen to play the first game. I know there's a sequel coming out on a remake on PlayStation 5, but I've been on a massive Star Wars kick recently, Bryce, so I'm keen to go and check out some more Star Wars stories. So this on Switch would be pretty cool. So yeah, any interest? Did you ever play these games by chance? Being a big PC man?
Back in the day I did. Yeah.
Yeah. Did you enjoy them?
Yeah, they're great. They're fun. Yeah.
Cool.
Star Wars era's games, like back in those days of Star Wars era,
Yep.
were pretty universally praised. I don't think people had anything bad to say about them in general.
Mm.
You know what I mean?
No, I heard nothing but good things about them.
Yeah.
Next up is Neon White, and this was a game published from Annapurna Interactive, and this was been in a Nintendo Direct. I think maybe the last one it was announced, and it got a release date pretty imminent at Summer Games Fest, and now it's out. So I don't really know what this game's all about. So it's a lightning-fast first-person action platformer set beyond the early gates of heaven. Neon White is a lightning-fast action first-person action game with demons in heaven. You are White, an assassin handpicked from hell to compete with other demon slayers for the chance to live permanently in heaven. Other assassins seem familiar, though. Do you know them in a past life? ? I don't know if I do, to be honest. And next we got Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Shredder's Revenge, which I've been playing on PC thanks to Xbox Game Pass. Thank you very much. I was actually really keen to pick this up, but I don't know. It got announced for Game Pass. I'm like, well, I'll save my $33.75.
Yeah, that's right.
But yeah,
on the GP.
Yeah, I've been enjoying it from what I've been playing on PC, man. It's what you expect. It's just a really slick brawler. Fantastic. Have you had interest in picking this up?
No, I haven't really. Looked into it far too much. But I'm sure it's nice and solid, to be completely honest with you.
Yeah. It is weird, though, because I know there's a Switch tax for a lot of games, but it's mainly with cartridge games. Mm-hmm. And I think I noticed there was it was Super Perils of Baking. I picked that up on Switch. And it was $15 on Switch, and it was $17.50 on PlayStation 4. I'm like, okay, so it's like a reverse PlayStation tax. So it's not always more expensive on Switch. But with Shredder's Revenge, I noticed it was $30 on PlayStation when I checked it earlier today. But in full price on Switch, it's $37.50. I'm like, why is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles more on Switch? Like, I don't know why. It's baffling. Like, it's not even like this game isn't physical apart from the limited edition that one of those printing companies are doing. And
it's not the first time it's happened with a digital product, though. Yeah,
no, it's far from that. I remember, was it Terraria? It came up for $60 on Switch. It's like, I don't think so.
So stupid. Yeah, Terraria on Switch is way overpriced.
Mm.
Beyond actual scope of reasonability, it is such an overpriced game. It's a great game. Terraria is fucking fantastic, but $60. When it came out on PC, it was $10.
Yeah, I know. Like, it was like a $15, $20 game at most on like PlayStation
fucking
and stuff.
Christ.
That was the most extreme markup I've ever witnessed in my life. Like, I was like, holy fuck. Because I wouldn't have minded just like putting around, just jumping around and mining some shit and whatever in Terraria, but whatever. Also, if you want to play Stardew Valley, it's actually up for a free game trial with Nintendo Switch Online. So go and check that out if you haven't bought Stardew Valley on Nintendo Switch. A lot of fun. Great game. And Capcom also have announced there's a Monster Hunter Rise Sunbreak demo available on Switch too. So if you're keen to get into the expansion to Monster Hunter Rise, go and check it out. But that's all the releases this week, Bryce, as far as ones I want to talk about anyway.
Well, yeah. I think that's about it, really.
Mm.
It hasn't been a huge amount this week.
Heap of sales, though. There's over 2,500 games on sale. And
yeah, it's because it's that time of year.
Yeah, yes. It's funny, though, because it's like all the big games on my eShop, when I go to like Nintendo's recommended, for example, it's just like purchase. I'm like, oh, God. Don't remind me how much money I've spent on this goddamn system of mine.
Yeah, well, that's right. Fuck it hell.
Oh, bro. So, do you miss Reggie? You haven't seen Reggie in quite a while, have you, mate?
No, I haven't.
You want to call in Reggie's Rec Room? It's been a pretty awesome week with Summer Game Fest. Bunch of games announced all over the place, whether it's the PlayStation State of Play or the Xbox Showcase. Plenty of stuff to talk about. Let's just talk about some of the stuff we've been, I don't know, excited about over the last few weeks.
Yeah. Let's do it.
Yeah.
Hi, Nintendo fans.
Oh.
Reggie here.
Hey, Reggie.
Thank you for your never-ending support, for giving me a mushroom kingdom full of incredible memories that I will never forget. Ever.
Well, pop a drink with Reggie. Thank you, mate. It's an absolute pleasure to be in here again. And, Bryce, he hasn't seen you in a while. He's very happy to see you, Bryce. He's wagging his tail. He's stamping his foot. Go and give him a scratch on the cheek. Hey.
Just wagging his whole fucking tail.
His whole fucking tail. Yeah.
His whole fucking tail. We gave Reggie the robot a tail.
He's not a robot. He's a real Reggie. We've got him in here. I mean, yes, a robot. Yeah. No, you're right, Bryce. We can't admit we have the real one. That's illegal.
No.
That's illegal.
Yeah, that's human trafficking.
Yeah. Anyway, so been a bunch of stuff. Let's start off with the PlayStation State of Play. We're not going to talk about everything in these events. This isn't a recap, but so some of the stuff that we're excited about. I think personally for me, I don't know. We haven't talked about State of Play at all with one another at all. But State of Play, I think, was one of my favorite presentations. It was only sort of third-party sort of stuff from PlayStation, but like all the Capcom stuff and Final Fantasy 16 all looked really, really good. So I'm really keen to get into a lot of this stuff. So, like, what do you think of Street Fighter 6? Personally, for me, I actually picked up Street Fighter 5 on a Humble Bundle the other day, just like real cheap. I'm like, I actually wouldn't mind getting into Street Fighter, and Street Fighter 6 looks awesome. So, just all of the stuff where like you can actually like Street Fighter, it's always had the fighter, but you could never run around a street. But now you can actually run around a street, like in the third person, go and challenge other players to battles. Kind of looks like a bit of a hub, like you might expect in Splatoon, which is, I think, is an awesome thing games are doing, where you can actually sort of, it gives life to a lot of these games where it's just menus. It just doesn't really have the sort of atmosphere that an area where with characters and people inhabiting them would be. So I'm glad to see that. And I know like Final Fantasy 16 for you, that's a big one you're excited for. But it's piqued my interest as well. It looks really good. So, I don't know.
You get to see a Yoshida, a Naoki Yoshida directed game. So, I suppose it's worth mentioning that he has been the director of Final Fantasy 14 for so long now. So, having him on this is huge. And I'm keen to see sort of like how he manages to pull the team through this.
Yeah, because they got like a massive sort of all-star cast just like for developers for this game too. So
they do, yeah. And that's like that's what I mean is I have a lot of faith in him because he managed to bring back a whole fucking MMO from the dead. So it is really just a case of like Jesus Christ, like. Hopefully he can pull this off with the mainline game and see how that goes. But that'll be all up to Creative Business Unit 3 to really pull that shit out.
I love that name too. Straight to the point.
CBU3.
Yeah. They showed off like a bunch of stuff for PlayStation VR 2 as well. And I was going into this event. This was the only event I watched live, by the way, because it was 8 o'clock in the morning, whereas everyone else was 3 o'clock. I'm like, nah, that's not happening. So I was doing the dishes actually while watching the showcase, and going into it, I really wanted a bit more of an idea when the PlayStation VR 2 was going to come out and whether it could support PC play. Because if that was the case, I would have 100% like been excited, put down a pre-order, all of that. But we still got no release date. We still got no idea with PC compatibility. But we got some games sort of shown off. We got some more Horizon Call of the Mountain, which looks pretty cool, like with the sort of just beautiful fidelity of Horizon Forbidden West, but in VR. That's going to be It's going to be incredible. No Man's Sky for PlayStation VR 2 got shown off as well. That's already on VR systems, including PlayStation VR. So not all that surprising, but just like the step up from especially the PlayStation VR, it's going to be pretty cool.
Yeah.
So
yeah, that's right.
felt a little bit underwhelmed just with PSVR, but hopefully we see more of it this year. I would like to see it come out, but yeah, I'm waiting for the Amazon Prime sort of sale for an Oculus Quest. I was going to sort of order it for my birthday with some birthday money, but then Amazon came out and be like, all right, we're having a big sale next month. Oculus will be a part of it. I'm like, all right, well, I can't can't order it a month earlier and pay an extra, I don't know, assuming $100 or something. Like it's going to be, I think they do pretty significant deals for the Oculus Quest. So yeah, won't be doing that. But yeah, I assume you don't have anything to say about the VR side of things.
Nah, not really. I don't have VR. So
Yeah. A game I'm really looking forward to it actually it's called Stray. You play as a cat. Looks really beautiful. Published by Arapurna Interactive. So yeah, looks really cool. I'm keen to play it. It's actually coming to PlayStation Plus Extra. So their new subscription service, which is launching on the 22nd here, I believe. So yeah, I think I'm going to sign up to the PlayStation Plus because it's $130 a year. And there's a few games on there I'm actually keen to play. Just like some of the Sony first party stuff. There's a couple of racing games on there which I'll utilize my wheel with because it's compatible with PlayStation 5 and the Stray game. It's actually quite a bit. So I'm like, yeah, well, it's actually quite a fair bit cheaper than Game Pass. So
the way you said it sounded like it's like, oh yeah, I've got this racing wheel. It's compatible with the cat game.
oh look, that'd be sick. I would play that.
You're just like fucking like your cat sprinting. You're like, right, yeah, just get my one hand on the wheel, just like fucking pull the gear shift, like fucking spinning around the corner. Like,
That'd be sick.
oh, my cat.
Yeah. So that's pretty much all I was really excited about from the state of play. Plenty of other stuff there as well, but I guess it was interesting for Spider-Man's coming to PC.
I called this as one of the things that would happen quite some time ago. Like I've said for a long time now, and anybody that listens to the show knows it, but I've said like it's not gonna like they've already started moving shit tons of PlayStation games to PC. I would not be surprised if most of their library, and I'm talking like 80%, ends up on PC.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Soon enough, and it's fucking going there. It's going so fast.
Yeah.
And like that's the thing is just like a lot of people seem to have this inevitability that like exclusivity is the thing, but there is so much missed potential on PC. Holy shit, there's so much potential on PC.
Yeah, well, with like their Last of Us remake that's in development for PC, like the announcement was just followed up by also in development for PC, so probably going to move towards a day and date eventually for PlayStation games, which be awesome. I want the choice to play on PlayStation or PC. Like with like most PlayStation games like God of War, Horizon, whatever, I probably would prefer to play it on a PlayStation. But stuff like Gran Turismo 7, it needs to be on PC. Like just for the way the racing sim community plays those games, it really needs to be on PC. So hopefully like stuff like that moves there. But Spider-Man, be interested in playing on PC. I can't wait for all the mods to be put into it. Playing as Thomas the Tank Engine, just swinging in New York City.
All the old notable Spider-Man games were on PC back in the day when we were like really young.
Yeah.
All that they were all on PC back in the day, and like I don't really see why this would sort of be any different, sort of thing. It's like one of those things that just I've always seen it as lost potential and lost money. It's like PC gaming for a while was considered like one of the only ways you could game. And then all of a sudden it's just like consoles are getting more advanced under the TV and stuff like that. So now all of a sudden it's just like, oh, well, I guess we just don't care about PCs anymore. But then like we're in this year of fucking 2022 when content creation is at a huge, substantial high. PCs are relatively cheap to get into than they were probably, I'd say probably about 10 years ago. pick up a graphics card that's like a 1070 Ti now or something like that you know you might spend $400 on or something like that, like something that I've got on my PC right now. It's probably more advanced than a console, yeah, but like the amount of shit that I've managed to set up with just my PC, which like at a face value is only worth a bit over $1,000, and the amount of money that I've made just like streaming and sort of maintaining a schedule like that while also playing games and stuff like that I want to play, it just seems like a no-brainer, really, I guess.
Like, sort of with PlayStation making this big shift to, like, probably eventually having the games day and date, but they're definitely having a big focus on PC, bringing their biggest game, Spider-Man. It's by far their biggest game on PlayStation 4. Like, Nintendo, how do you see them embracing PC? Because personally for me, I know they won't, just for starters, but we're living in a hypothetical here, but I think they would honestly benefit really well for some of their games. Maybe not for like Mario Party, that doesn't need to be on PC necessarily, but something like Breath of the Wild 2, I think that would be fantastic to have like the option to play on PC with the graphics turned high, just all the sort of luxuries that PC enables you, but also having the ability to play on Switch and sort of treating, I guess, the PC as like the higher end console where you can get home and you can play your Nintendo games like that. But I definitely don't see that happening. I think Nintendo would be the one who's kicking and screaming to embrace anything else. But I think the sort of the biggest shame that comes with Nintendo not embracing other platforms apart from mobile is actually Pokemon. Like, you know, like Pokemon Unite, that game needs to be on PC, you know, but Nintendo obviously have a thing where it's like it's either mobile or Switch, but nothing else. Like, not PC and certainly not PlayStation. But like, it need more of that stuff on other consoles. But yeah, no, that's sort of my thinking. Like, what's the harm? Obviously, you're not going to be getting as much money if you're selling it on Steam, but they could make their own awful app where you can launch your games on PC, and everyone complains about it because it's another launcher. Which now that I've got my PC, holy shit, I'm sick of launchers. I'm like, I just want to play Steam, and then it's like, I buy Red Dead Redemption on Steam. It's like, all right, you need to make an account for the Rockstar launcher, and you need to install it. I'm like, I really don't want the fucking Rockstar launcher on my PC. Why would I want that? But yeah.
That's the thing, is a lot of them are reverting back to Steam now too, though. Like, it's like they've realized what the fuck is the point. They've just discontinued it and moved back to Steam because, like, we've got COD coming back this year as well. There's just no point.
Yeah, thank God. Yeah. That's one thing I noticed with Summer Games Fest. Like, I'm not going to bring up any more Blizzard games, but with Diablo 4, new Call of Duty, and Overwatch 2, you know, honestly, the games look great. They look awesome. But has everybody forgotten what that company's been up to over the last 6 months? Everybody's forgotten. It was like, oh, fuck, that looks cool. I'm going to buy it. It's like, okay. Has everybody forgotten like, the heinous shit they're up to and the court case they're fighting? And since Xbox like said they're going to buy them, everyone's like, oh, fuck that. Who cares? They're good again. It's like, they're not.
It's like an article that came up the other day. It's like Activision Blizzard claims that Activision Blizzard has cleared Activision Blizzard of corruption.
Yeah, it's like, yeah.
Like, literally, that's something that happened the other day.
Yeah, I read the article. I'm like, okay. Yeah, I don't know. It's just like everybody's forgotten straight away. And like, I've said this before. We can't make choices that we can't always make the right choices. And insane, like, you know, with Nintendo now that they've got like a bit of Saudi Arabia money, we can't be like, all right, I'm not doing that. All right, I'm not buying an iPhone because it's made in China. I'm not doing this because it's got this. Like, you can't live morally correct. But at the same time, like, it's not even in the conversation when it comes to Activision Blizzard. Sort of in recent times, I don't know. It just seems like everyone's pretty fickle and forgot. But I don't know. That's just me. It's easy for me to say that though because I couldn't give a shit about their games. I never have. So it's also easy for me to say. If Nintendo was in the same place, I'd be like, oh fuck. I really wouldn't know what to sort of do. We've been close with a couple of our stories the last few weeks, but yeah. Yeah, so let's move on to, I guess, Summer Games Fest, sort of Jeff Keighley's show. I didn't watch this one. This aired at 3 o'clock in the morning for us, and apparently it was just full of ads, including The Rock, who showed up to show off his energy drink in a movie that he's in. So, all right. So I just, went through the list, looked at the trailers I was keen on. By far the game I'm most excited for is The Last of Us Part 1, a remake of the first Last of Us. Mainly not because it's like, oh yes, I need The Last of Us to look better. I think it does look better, but sort of the gameplay was so improved in The Last of Us Part 2. It's one of my favorite action games I've ever played, and when I started playing it, I was just like, holy shit, I couldn't believe how, just from a gameplay front, how improved it was from the original Last of Us, because the original Last of Us, it played like Uncharted. It was kind of meh. And I originally came off of the first Tomb Raider game, which played really cool with the bow and arrow and everything, and it all felt pretty lackluster in The Last of Us. The Last of Us just sort of, for me, the story carried it a lot, but the sequel was so much fun. I enjoyed it from a gameplay perspective, story perspective. Thought it was awesome. So if they're bringing that sort of gameplay mechanic into the original game with just like upgraded graphics for PlayStation 5 and that, really looking forward to it. It's coming out like September? Pretty soon anyway, so I'm really looking forward to it.
Yeah, it's not long at all actually.
Yeah, it's there's a lot of people talking about price. Like, it's a full price PlayStation Studios game, $125 here in Australia. That's a lot of money for any game, so it's up to you whether you think that's worth it or not. It's also kind of strange, but it is put against I guess the definitive edition on PlayStation 4. You can get that free with PlayStation Plus collection and like $10, like a physical disc. So it's like, if you've never played the game before and you're on a budget, you've got an option there that is cheaper. But for fans that want an upgrade, it's going to be pretty cool. So I'm looking forward to that. What else in this showcase sort of piques your eye?
I really didn't pay all that much attention to it, to be completely honest with you.
Yeah, fair enough.
Like you said, it was full of ads, and that is like the main thing that I'd heard about it. I find it so weird that they had the fucking Rock there promoting an energy drink.
Yeah, he seems to rock up every now and again. So why are you here? Like, I like The Rock. Don't get me wrong, but are you in a game or something? Fuck off. It's like, are you talking about games? No. Okay.
It's like, if we're talking about strongman video games, like, I mean, Terry Crews, I'd understand because he's actually actively playing video games. I don't know about specifically in SGF that I'd actually paid attention to, because I watched the Xbox one, and I watched the State of Play after it finished.
Yep.
And then the Xbox showcase I watched, but yeah, not specifically that.
Yeah, honestly, there wasn't a lot for me. Like, I know, like, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, this is where it got its release date and announcement that it was on Game Pass. So that was a highlight. That game's already out now, though. So that's cool. Call of Duty looks great, but like I said, like, it's whatever. I might play it on Game Pass when it comes out, but don't really want to support them at the moment.
No. Yeah.
But yeah, honestly, there wasn't anything really there for me. Like, was it Callisto Protocol? That looks cool, but I'll get it cheaper down the line.
Very Dead Space.
Oh yeah, well, it's made by the original director of Dead Space,
of course,
when he left. So he went to go and make that game. But yeah, nah, not too much there for me, unfortunately. But it is. I really want to know Jeff Keighley's sort of how he monetizes these things, because I assume like the companies come to him and they pay for space to put their trailers, but they also put video game trailers in there with already released games, and then they also get people like The Rock and that coming into it. So I'm just confused. Why is there ads in like a showcase that are ads? It's like adception. I'm just it's like, could you imagine like the Xbox Bethesda conference? You're like, you're just watching their ads, and then it's like Xbox like monetizing it with like an energy drink ad. You're like, what? What? We're already been advertised to. You've got one of the most captive audiences in any entertainment industry ever, where we're actually like, oh fuck, it's 3 o'clock in the morning. I better wake up, see what Xbox are showing me. It's like, how much more ads can you put into this shit? I just find it really interesting. I'm like, are you doing it for free and you've got to monetize it to keep the lights on? What's doing out the goodness of your heart? Like,
this is sponsored by the Rock's Cock.
Oh, the Rock's Cock. How much would the Rock's Cock sponsor you for?
I know.
Yeah.
Good question.
So the Xbox showcase, I thought it was good. I really enjoyed it, and I think what made it even better is just Xbox conferences in general these days is just for every game's on Game Pass. So if you're watching a Nintendo Direct, you're like, fuck, this is going to cost me like $1,000 if I want to play everything. But this one is like $200 a year. You get to play it all out in the next 12 months. Pretty cool. At the very start, they showed off Silksong, Hollow Knight. So that's coming to Game Pass. That's going to be pretty cool. So supposedly that's coming out in the next 12 months. So that's going to be pretty cool. Who knows?
A place for it to drop all of a sudden, though. It was just kind of like, oh,
yeah.
Okay.
I wonder if this trailer was here just to say that, yes, it is on Game Pass and that it will show up at a Direct with a release date. I don't know, but could. Redfall, a lot of people are saying, like, a lot of people are excited about this game. It looks really generic and boring to me, but it is what it was.
Yeah.
High on Life, this is pretty cool. Made by Justin Roiland, who was the man behind the Rick and Morty.
Co-creator, yeah.
Yeah, so just like
weird how all the guns are talking aliens.
Yeah, it's all. Yeah, I really like games where I know a lot of people this isn't their cup of tea, but I like games where there's always sort of commentary going on in the background, and I can imagine just like you're going through, you're shooting things, but as you're doing it, these like you're looking at this face right in front of you, just being like, just doing this dumb shit, you're just laughing as like as you're actually doing some FPS gameplay. Sounds pretty cool. Obviously it's an easy sell because I'll download it. It's on Game Pass. I'm subscribed. It's good. So, I'm pretty easy to be sold when you're already sort of signed up to this thing. A big announcement that is nothing to me, but I can sort of acknowledge that it's pretty big. Riot Games is on Xbox Game Pass. You get access to all the League of Legends champions, League of Legends Wild Rift, Legends of Runeterra, Teamfight Tactics, and Valorant. You get access to all the agents, all the champions, etc., etc. It's pretty cool, pretty big. I don't know. You play League of Legends and stuff. Does this make you go, holy shit? Like you're going to get all the champions for your subscription?
It's huge news because they have never really done there are other MOBAs that have done passes before to get specific things, whether it be sort of battle passes or you've got Smite that does like a character pass thing, like was one-time purchase. It's like $40 or whatever, and you get everything and in future content. And stuff like that as well. But Riot's never traditionally done that at all with League specifically too. So now that they're developing more games, it's sort of been a bit more of an interesting thing. Valorant's the same sort of thing. You can't just have all of the agents at once. You need to buy them individually and stuff like that. But to hear that they're just going to have a thing where like if you've got Game Pass and you've got like access to everything under the Riot banner, is a fucking huge thing because that saves a absolute mega shit ton of money.
Yeah, well, I've been sort of looking around for League of Legends alone. You'll get up to $600 American worth of value just with unlocking the champions. And that doesn't include if you play like a couple of these games. Like, it's going to be pretty insane, and just like they're obviously trying to get new people to come into their games like really aggressively, like giving away this much content for, I dare say, a very nice check from Microsoft, but pretty cool. Just like a really aggressive sort of play in the industry, which is even from someone who couldn't care really less about Riot Games, it's just like, wow, that's a big move. Like, kind of.
I think you'd like their new game coming out.
Yeah, they've got like some fighting games coming out, and like
they've got like an adventure game with Nunu and his pet Yeti Willem.
Yeah, and that's the thing with League of Legends. Like, a lot of the characters, they're fantastic. It's just like, do you want to play a toxic MOBA? Not really. But
You haven't watched Arcane yet either. Fucking Arcane is...
Yeah, no, I haven't. Like, heard nothing but good things. So I just haven't.
It's Netflix. I think it's, apart from like Stranger Things now, I think it's Netflix's top rated.
Oh, it's on
show.
Netflix, is it? I didn't realize it was.
Yeah, it's Netflix's best one of Netflix's highest rated shows.
Oh, okay,
in fact, it's like in the top 3.
All right, I thought it was just YouTube, to be honest. Just yeah, okay.
Netflix. Yeah.
No, I should give it a look because like whenever you go
People
to
who don't play League love it. It's great.
yeah, whenever you go to a convention or whatever, it's League of Legends and Blizzard characters, which everyone's dressed up as. Like everyone just loves them. So I think just doing more sort of games based on their characters is a great idea. But yeah, massive move by Riot. A game that I'm really excited for, and it's probably one of the more boring ones for a lot of people, but Forza Motorsport. I'm really looking forward to Forza Motorsport. I got the PC, I got the racing wheel. I've been looking forward to a brand new motorsport game to come out because I think it's Motorsport 6. Like, Xbox currently don't have a motorsport game you can go and buy because the previous game with licensing of the cars, it expired, so you can no longer go and buy that game. So they just don't even have an option to go back to the older game unless you want, I guess, a disc on Xbox One. But no, that's not gonna fly with me. So yeah, really looking forward to Motorsport on Series and PC. I thought it was really cool how they had like a bit of a dig at Gran Turismo. In Gran Turismo, ray tracing, so how light reflects off of the cars and the track and everything, it's not present when you're actually playing in the game. But if you're watching a replay, then that's when ray tracing turns on. And they had a very sort of clear statement in this where it's like, ray tracing is on in race, not just replays. I was like, okay. And that's a fair sort of dig to have as far as it goes. And they also went into an expansion for Forza Horizon 5. They got another Hot Wheels expansion, which looks really cool. I actually missed the Hot Wheels expansion in Forza Horizon 3. So I'm really keen to get into this because Forza Horizon 4 on, I guess, the previous game had an expansion for Lego. And it was awesome. Like just driving around Lego cars, smashing through Lego trees and Lego just like houses and all that. It was awesome. It was so much fun. So hopefully the Hot Wheels one's just as good. Like doing the loop-the-loops, like on an ultra-wide monitor and with the racing wheel. I'm like, holy shit, I won't know what to do with myself. What else here? I think the last case of Benedict Fox looks pretty cool. Kind of like a moody action platformer. Looks pretty nice. What else here really excited me? Oh, the Persona games. Yes. This was a big thing for Xbox, and Persona 3 Portable, Persona 4 Golden, and Persona 5 Royal coming to Xbox Game Pass, coming to PlayStation and PC as well. Hopefully we get these on Switch. I really hope we get these on Switch. What do you reckon our likelihood is of this coming to our little Nintendo box?
I have no idea, to be honest. I think like the thing is like we can look at it from the perspective that they will, but then we probably won't get our wish just by manifesting it.
Yeah.
I'll be honest with you.
Like it's the only platform we don't have a sort of, I guess, announcement for. But I feel like with a lot of these things we've been talking about on this episode, I feel like a lot of things are just holding for a direct, whether it is this month or July or August. I feel like some things are just holding off for Nintendo's word, but
yeah,
I hope so. I really want at least Persona 4 Golden and 3 on there, whether they get Royal, like if they make the effort to sort of downgrade it.
Like it's a huge step, and the way I want to look at it is that I don't think Atlas have the same relationship with PlayStation that they used to anymore. And I think Atlas are looking to branch out. They realize with P5 how much of a reach they can actually have. So now they're just looking to push it in other places as well. And like it going to Xbox in itself is a huge thing, because it's a Western, like a sort of a Western based gaming company, which is, you know, being embedded in Japan as Atlas is. I didn't think it'd ever happen, but not only that, also like PC as well. But we've already got P4G on Steam.
Yeah.
So it's sort of like, you know, But at the same time, just I'd love to see them end up on Switch. All of them could end up on Switch. I think that's 100% a possibility, and I think the fan demand for it is so far and beyond there for it to happen. So chances of it happening they're high, I think. But I think also saying it too loud will just manifest bad things.
Yeah, because you imagine just the sheer amount of cash Atlas and Sega would just be missing out on. Just like at least like the older games, so 3 and 4, the sheer amount of cash they'll be like just leaving on the table, just not including them on Switch. Like it would be insane. And Persona 5 Royal, like the original Persona 5, it came out on PlayStation 3 in Japan. But Persona 5 Royal, they sort of, I guess they gave like a PlayStation 4 Pro update with 4K and stuff. And I don't know how, they might have to do a little bit of work and downgrading for the Switch, just in that regard. So, hopefully they see the dollar signs. Because there's no way it's not worth it. Like it's a 107 million selling console. People love their JRPGs on it. People have been asking for 5 on it for years at this point. Like there is no way it's not worth it. So whether they want to hold it for another day, they might too. So who knows? What do you think about Hideo Kojima coming out and saying, "Yo, making a cloud-based"? Coming out, he's gay. Yeah. No, just no. Yeah, that's right. It's a good time to do it. Saying that he's making a cloud game with Xbox Game Studios. Pretty cool. A big statement for Xbox to come out and say, "Hey, we got your boy
with Mr. Kojima."
Yeah. And then he has to actually say later, it's like, "Hey, look, I'm still in good working relations with PlayStation, so probably are making a game with them as well. I dare say."
Welcome to Death Stranding Cloud Edition.
Yeah, could you imagine? He just ports it over. Only works in the cloud.
Oh God.
Yeah. No, it's just
it's neat.
Yeah.
But I listen. I think he's. Yeah. I think the statements are 100% true in that he's like one of the most creative minds in the industry, and like et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Absolutely. But do I think it's that like? Do I think it's that that unbelievable that I could see Kojima working with Microsoft on anything? The person he gravitates toward to most as a character in his games currently is an American star from The Walking Dead. And likely that is 100% where he found that inspiration from. It was like, oh, I'm going to watch this American TV show.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean? And then then the second fucking game got leaked anyway.
Yeah, that's what Overdose
2 got leaked.
Yeah, it sounds interesting. It'd be interesting to see where that pops up. Is that a PlayStation game, or is that this game? I don't think it is the Xbox game.
No, it won't be.
No. The Xbox game. I think they literally just like sign the paper. It's like, all right, get your ass up in this Xbox showcase, make us look good, make our money worth it, you fucking bastard. I think that's what they were doing at this show. Phil Spencer's like, he just comes out and he's like his t-shirt. He's like, we fucking got him, boys. Here he is. He's a hey there, Kojima. He just gives you a nod, tip of the cap. So yeah, that's right. You'll get a game from him on Xbox. Don't you fucking worry about that, kids. Now here's Starfield. What do you reckon of Starfield?
Yeah. Go away with that.
Looks like a Bethesda game.
It looks terrible already. Sorry.
Oh Jesus Christ, Bros. Getting right out there with the facts.
Listen, no. There was absolutely no reason for them to bring that out on show. Not at all.
Yeah, well,
it fucking looked undercooked.
They should have been like, all right, here's the delay, and it also will not be showcased at our June event. But honestly, it looked rough, but just from watching it, like I've never been a big Bethesda fan, so like when I'm talking about Activision Blizzard, I'm the guy they've got to win over. Honestly, I like big open games, so it's not like I'm opposed to this type of thing. But Bethesda games, they've always looks like they do. I'm like, I'm not that interested in. Don't know. A lot of people are talking.
Are good.
Yeah.
Okay. Like I do like them, but I just think they're shooting way above their fucking belt as always. Like that's their problem. That's 100% what they do. They're just like, oh look, we're just gonna make a fucking game with 1,000 planets when we can't fucking maintain one. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's like just stick to a region.
Oh, calm the fuck down.
Stick to a region. Like Skyrim was a big region. Just do another big region. You don't have to do 1,000 planets. Come on, calm down.
That's right.
Yeah. Anyway, so that was like the Xbox Bethesda showcase. It was okay. It was good.
Yeah.
What else was there? There's plenty of other things which I haven't caught up on like 100%. I haven't caught up on Day of the Devs. I probably should because that has a lot of games I'll probably be a lot more interested in all honesty. Just like a lot more indie type stuff, but sort of like coming across them on Steam for the demos and stuff like Bear and Breakfast. That looks ridiculous. Yeah, actually, there was a game that I'm keen to actually. I haven't tried on Steam yet. It's called Goodbye World. Goodbye World is an indie game about indie game creators created using pixel art mimicking Super Nintendo, NES, and Game Boy Advance games. It's expected out later this year. Looks really cool. It's got like graphics like Mother 3, which I think is absolutely beautiful pixel art. So that's what I want to try on Steam maybe later this week. But actually download it quick because it's finishing up soon. Yeah, like there's the PC gaming show too. I started watching that. There was some interesting stuff coming out of it, but it's like a 2-hour presentation. I'm like, a lot of stuff was kind of boring me.
The PC gaming show isn't that fun to watch. Never really is.
No, but there's so little this year because like E3 is not a thing. So I'm like, fuck it, I'll just watch. Just what do you have for me? I think I got to a point where they were talking about F1 Manager, and I'm not like into these like manager games where it's football or F1 or whatever have you, but it looks really interesting. Like,
we're getting so desperate, boys. Look out.
Yeah. Just like with everything that goes into it, I'm like, holy shit, would I be able to make these decisions that impact the race?
Yes.
Yes, I could.
You could all do it. Believe in yourself.
I'm just sitting there on the microphone like, hey, Trent, change your fucking tyres. They're bold. For fuck's sakes.
Hey, Trent.
Is that how you play the game? I just sit here on the microphone like, oi.
Trent, you need to activate your ass power and sit on the wheel.
Oh, the ass power. How does one activate an ass power, bros?
They sit on the wheel and they steer with their ass.
You like clench each cheek.
It's more stable, you see. It's more pressure on the wheel.
Yeah, okay. So you like clench your left cheek and that turns you to the left. When you clench to the right, you turn to the right. You clench both. And that's the brake.
No. You clench both and you fly.
Oh, shit. That's wicked, man.
Whoa.
How do you get back to the ground? You unclench when you just drop.
Yeah, that's right. And you just drop. Physics. Amazing.
Yeah, absolutely fantastic. Yeah, I don't know if I have any more games to really talk about as far as Summer Game Fest. Like, it was fun sort of following it all, but as far as like actual purchases, I don't know if I'm going to be buying anything.
No, yeah.
Like, there's already like so much of it's been announced. Like, I'm going on EV Games website now. Like, just if I just go to PlayStation, I go to pre-orders. Getting The Last of Us, I'm interested in Hogwarts Legacy from what we've seen. Might pick that up. Forspoken, I'm keen to pick that up. That might be it as far as that goes. So let's go to Switch. Go to Switch pre-orders. So we've got the Pokemon games. We've got Fire Emblem Warriors 3 Hopes. We've got Xenoblade Chronicles 3, Splatoon 3, Digimon Survive, Live Alive coming from Square Enix, which I'm keen for. Temtem's getting its 1.0 update. So that's going to be pretty cool. That's coming to Switch as well on the 6th of September. I've already got it on PC. I bought it like in beta years ago. So I'll probably just play it there. But that seems pretty cool, just with like always online sort of monster catching Pokemon-esque sort of game. So like just from that alone, there's plenty, let alone all the indie games and whatever else, stuff coming to Game Pass, stuff in your backlog. I just do not feel like I need more to be like, oh shit, I got to get that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, because like, do you think like, you know, we're obsessed. We like to try and keep up with the times and that. Honestly, just buying Xenoblade Chronicles 3, that's good enough for the rest of the year. Like, honestly, like, do you need... You could get Splatoon 3, like, Christmas time, played over the summer break. That'd be good enough for then. It's like, you know, just engulfed with content. It's a hard time to be alive, Bryce. I don't know what to say. It's difficult. How do we...
Yeah. Oh, well, I'm just going to need to cut down, to be honest. There's too much coming out at once now.
Yeah, like, it's a money thing, but it's mainly a time thing. Like, yeah. Because, like, how do you find you're picking up your Switch much, like, the last month or so? Yeah. Is that time or content, or why do you feel that is?
No, it's because I'm too busy doing other things. Like, I might pick up my Switch if I'm playing something on my stream or something. But like in terms of actual video games, unless I'm doing content, I'm not actually doing a lot in video games at the moment.
Yeah, and we all go through those times too, where it's like, I don't feel like playing anything, and sometimes you feel like playing everything. It's like,
yeah, that's right. Yeah,
yeah. Because like on PlayStation, I've got 2 copies here still in their cellophane. I got Lego Star Wars, and I got The Quarry. Like The Quarry just came in yesterday, and actually Lego Star Wars did too. Got it on Amazon for $55. So pretty happy with that. But yeah, look, there's always something coming out where it's like, do I have enough time to play Lego Star Wars? I don't know. No. Probably not. I've got it. The option's there.
You don't have the time to play it.
Yeah. All right. So I think that's all Summer Game Fest. We'll wrap up the show, but before we do, I got 1 pack of Amiibo cards left.
Oh, yeah, you would open that.
That search for Filbert. This is the last chance, ladies and gentlemen. Where is freaking... Oh, I see a blue card in there. Could you imagine? Could you imagine if we finished off the show with a Filbert, Bryce? So what do we got? I think we got Anacotti, but that's a double up. We got Avery. That's another double up. Oh, fuck. And the blue one's Chip.
Oh, fucking Chip.
Fucking Chip.
Fucking Chip.
All right, everybody, send your hate mail to Chip. So, 2 of these cards were double ups. I got 3 packs.
Oh, no.
Yeah. All right, so
better luck next time.
So
buddy.
what we're going to do, if anybody listened to this almost 3-hour episode of the House of Mario, if you have a Filbert card, if you have a spare one, send him my way. I'll send you $10 as a thank you gift for Filbert. But otherwise, I got to go and buy them myself.
Yeah,
that's a shame.
Good luck.
$15. If anybody wants any of these cards, I'll be happy to give them to you. I honestly don't care about them. I like the sparkly ones though. KK Slider sparkly. I got a Porter sparkly one, and Chip sparkly. Fantastic. Fantastic stuff. Woo. Yeah. So everybody, thank you very much for listening to the House of Mario episode 224. You can join us on the Discord. There's a link in the show notes. Join our Mario Strikers Football Club. Help us dominate all those other bastard clubs out there. And if you listen this far, use the hashtag FOM Strikers Champions on Twitter or in Discord. Let us know you listened to the whole episode. We really appreciate it. This is a longer episode because I put this show together when I thought I was going to be doing a solo episode by myself. So it took a little bit longer to get through with all of us here, but definitely really appreciate your time, your effort, your love. But guys, thank you very much for coming over. It's support from listeners like you make this house a home. But our hospitality is run out, Bryce. We feel defeated. The bar's closed. It's time to go home. So the doors to the House of Mario, they're closed. We'll catch you later.
Bye-bye.
The House of Mario, a Nintendo podcast, is lovingly crafted and recorded in the southeast of South Australia. The show is produced and hosted by me, Drew Agnew, and my co-host is Bryce DeWitt. If you enjoy my work here and on my other podcasts, Encore at the House of Mario, A Drew Story, and Crackin' Furfies, help spread the word by sharing us with a mate or leaving a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. If you would like the show further support and help me achieve my goal of freeing up 1 working day a week to spend more time refining and creating podcasts, please consider checking out patreon.com/iDrewby, where for only $1 you get access to my secret recordings, where I share everything behind the scenes. A big thank you to the legend DJ for supporting the content at the podcast producer level on Patreon. From the bottom of my heart, thank you.